literally been traveling almost a whole day off and on. I drove from Detroit, Michigan, all the way to New Mexico. It took me 24 hours. I stopped a whole bunch of times. I did a whole bunch of shit. I'm supposed to get here Friday, Saturday, and this is probably when I'm gonna get here. So yeah, about to get this whole thing started. Smoke Some Podcast, episode 35. It's the Visionary Mind, all the way in New Mexico. I got some very special guests with me. I'm gonna let you guys introduce yourselves.
So I'm Michelle. I'm one of the co-owners of Mujeres Valley Campground and also one of the co-coordinators of the Freedom Fest and the Forest Fiesta here in New Mexico.
And I'm Assad. I'm also one of the coordinators. I do most of the building for this stuff over here. You know, this is the boss right next to me.
Shut up.
So we here at the third annual Freedom Fest event. It was a great event, a lot of different vendors, a lot of great local support. How do you guys feel about the event now that it's kind of officially wrapped up?
I'm so tired. No, I'm just kidding. It's always refreshing to hear people's feedback and their journeys that they took to get here. That really makes it all worth it to see the connections that people make and where that grows to in the next couple of years. It's really amazing to watch that. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah. I'm real happy that it's over. I can't complain, bro. Like it was really eventful. We had as many people as we can get out here, you know. So I can't complain about that. When the performances was great.
Yeah.
The DJ sets was amazing. A couple people actually stayed over their times. They actually stayed and did extra time slots. So
yeah.
I mean, you can't ask for more than that for people to give you more than you expect.
Right. Definitely. So I kind of want to go into you guys' background. Like, how did you guys get to this point? How did you guys meet? And let's talk about you guys' journey in the beginning.
So we actually met on Twitter.
Okay.
But like for nothing serious, really. We were just kind of trying to hang out, hook up. I needed somewhere to smoke at. And then we kind of just like everything clicked and we kind of just stayed together. I kind of joked that the way that I moved in was he was like, "Oh, you're always here. You might as well live here." And then that's how we got married too. He's like, "You're always here. We might as well get married." But it's been like a generational healing journey for sure. None of our family has ever really moved out of California, and then we were kind of the first ones, and then we went to Colorado for a little while, and then Colorado kind of ran its course, and he was the one mainly who wanted land, lots of land to build. He wanted a homestead, and so we kind of did my thing for a while, and I was like, well, let's do your thing. And so we found some land. It was kind of just like our ancestors guiding us here. Like we didn't know where we were going or where we should go or anything like that, and we kind of just was like, hey, guide us. And we looked at a couple properties. We looked at two out here, and they fell through, and then we found this one, and we kind of just stayed. I don't know if you want to tell the story of how we were kind of confirmed.
Well, let's go back a little bit. What part of California are you guys from?
There you go. So she's from Whittier, where the girls are prettier.
Shut up! Don't say that. Lame ass lie.
Hey, I only said that.
Oh my gosh.
So when we first met, like, she told me about, "Oh yeah, I'm from Whittier." I was like, "Whittier?" She's like, "Yeah, well the girls are prettier." I was like, "What the hell?" Okay, whatever you say. But I'm from Watts, California, so it's like the heart of South Central California, where you know the black establishments are. We have a lot of black businesses, a lot of community orientation out that way. So that's where I'm from, and that's kind of why this move for me was important, because I'm more of a community I'm more focused on helping everybody. So that's kind of like my passion. And I used to work for the school board out there, and then I used to do a lot of maintenance and stuff like that. And that's kind of when we first met. I was working for the school board, and we was on Twitter. Of course, I was 20 at the time.
Yeah,
I was 20 at the time, and then hey, what you doing? Or something like that. Hey, cutie, or something like that. We can't really figure out who hit up who first.
Right.
She said it was me. I said it was her.
I can find the text messages if you need.
We've been saying this for 10 years. I still ain't seen it. I still ain't seen this message that I sent, like, "Don't be no stranger."
Yeah, that's what it was. It was like, "Don't be no stranger" or something like that. And then I needed somewhere to smoke. That was really it. I had nowhere to go. My family is all like law enforcement in California, so I really had nowhere to smoke at. It wasn't really legal like that at the time. So it was just like, he had an apartment. It was better than smoking out of my car. So I was just like, oh, yeah, let's go. And he didn't even want to have nothing to do with cannabis.
Nope. Yeah, no, my family is from the natural market. So, you know, hey, don't do that. Hey, don't look at that. Go out the room. Get out the room. I'm like, oh, so y'all doing something bad then, right?
Yeah.
If I can't see it, I ain't no snitch.
Right.
Then
what y'all hiding from me?
Right? Like, dang, let me be a part of this, you know? So I grew up like, okay, this has to be bad, you know? My mom saying this, don't touch it, don't do nothing like that. My pops was like, well, if you do it, just get it from me. You know, you just get it from me, I'll make sure it's good. So that's kind of how it was. I'm like, I'm good, you know? I don't need to be doing that shit. But I ended up getting hurt working for the school board. So I was doing heat and air conditioning. I had a ladder on my shoulder, and I heard a pop, like the loudest pop I've ever heard, just inside of your body. I'm like, that's weird. Well, my arm went limp, and like for 6 months, I couldn't even lift my right arm.
Damn.
So I lost my job. Like right after we met, she was like, "Oh yeah, he got all this stuff I want. He got a job. He got a car.
I had a checklist. I'm not even gonna lie.
He got his own spot. You know, he make his own money. And as soon as we like start linking tough, cause she made me wait like 6 months before she even came through. Like she ain't even gonna say that one. But like I was like, yeah, just come through. You want to smoke? Yeah, come through. We hang out.
No, because what though? Because I asked him why'd you want to talk to me, and he's like, oh, I just want to get to know you. Stop bullshitting me. Don't lie. You just want to hook up. And he was like, oh yeah, just trying to hook up. So I was like, okay, well, you can talk to me while I'm on the phone smoking, driving, hanging out. We were always like, I was always passing him and stuff, but I just knew I wasn't gonna be able to not hook up with him when we
so that next step that furthers in your relationship, like you guys come from two different walks of life. Like how were you guys able to further that and gel well together and, you know, ultimately get married?
I honestly just seen like that the differences were more of like from our family, and not really like from stuff that like we believed in. But I think we complemented each other too, because like I grew up in Whittier, but like my adult life I kind of grew up in Long Beach. So I learned that black people weren't comfortable around me because my dad was a cop, unless I was like offering something to like help. So I would always be like, you know, what are y'all trying to do? Like, don't do that. The cops are going to think about this. They're going to look at this, and just be smart about your moves. And that was kind of like my end. So it was like the same thing with him. I would just, you know, like, hey, be smart about this, or tell your cousin that or something. And it just clicked for me. Like, honestly, the first night I slept over, when we cuddled, I was like, it just felt like something.
A vibe, like the energy was there.
Yeah, and I was like, I'm never gonna find this again. I better not fuck up. Let me just stop. So I just kind of was like, I kept coming around. I didn't really tell him I was serious, but it was just like, yeah, I'm not gonna be over here unless I'm serious.
It's like the first time I'm hearing this shit.
What about you from your perspective? As far as coming from two different walks of life and gelling one together, taking that next step.
Yeah. So to me, at first it was weird. So. You know, like when you hear, like, okay, her dad's a sheriff, right?
Right.
So most people who in the sheriff department, all they do is lift weights, say cockstrong looking people, you know.
Yeah, they fit a certain prototype. Yeah.
You know, buzz cut, everything.
Buzz cut.
Well, we go into the house and I'm asleep. I'm fucking tired. I go to sleep and we pull up to the house. I wake up. It's a fucking 2-story house. What the fuck? I'm like, man, I'm dreaming. I like close my eyes. And she's like, yeah, we here. I'm like, we here. This where the fuck you live? I thought you said you was from Long Beach. This ain't no Long Beach shit.
Yeah, no, it ain't Long Beach.
so I'm sitting here like, oh, this nigga didn't lie to me. All right, fuck it. I'm already here. My cousin's in the back seat. Fuck it, we here.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm like, well, your dad, your mom here? Nah, wait, you want us to come inside and they ain't here? Nah, and he a cop? This is kind of weird. So we go in there, we chilling for like maybe 10 minutes watching TV. And my cousin was like, yo, somebody just pulled up. And I was like, you heard that shit? I was like, he was like, yeah. She was like, oh, that's probably just my dad. What's your T-Bear? That's all you hear when you walk in, T-Bear. I'm like, the fuck? Well, knowing me, I've been through a couple things, you know, make sure I'm being respectful. So I stood up and I looked around, and he just, the fuck? His whole personality didn't change. He's like straightened up, walked over, just, you know what I'm saying? Like chest all up, arms. I'm like, man, if I had to fight this dude, man,
it's over.
Never fuck with me again.
Never.
Like, I want to beat the shit out of her daddy, man. And
I mean, because that's crazy to imagine if you would have took all the intimidation factor from her. Because now she's like, damn, my boyfriend done whooped your ass. I can't even respect you now.
Nah.
I'm saying.
And me and my dad were never even that close either, so it was just kind of like,
yeah. And it's funny because like where I come from, like that's like the first thing you do is when somebody's walking up like they tough, you size them up like, oh, okay, then you get too close, I'm about to fucking punch you first. Like, it's not even, I'm not even about to ask nothing, I'm just about to punch you. And he stopped. I was like,
So what did the conversation end up leading to? Like, was he respectful? Or
nah, he's super fucking respectful. Okay. Super cool, like super funny, bro. Like unexpectedly, he was funny. I was like, but I don't
hit you with some of that like kind of interesting cop humor, like where we kind of blur the line. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you already know, like that cop humor ain't, man. Bro, okay. Speaking of cop humor, so a little bit further in the relationship, he started inviting me to poker night.
I was gonna say that.
Right, so I'm like, I don't know how to play poker, but I know how to, I shoot dice, you know, we play spades a little bit.
Right.
So he's like, no, we play 21, we play all that. I ain't never heard none of this shit.
Nah, that's some new shit.
He's like, oh, I'll teach you. Well, my thing is, when I play cards, I'm gonna mess with you. I don't care if I win, as long as I'm making you mad.
That intimidation factor, I get it.
If you getting mad playing, you automatically lose, so I ain't got nothing to worry about. So then he started telling stories about like how he pulled people over, and he didn't want to get a description of the person. I'm like, why the fuck he ain't describing this? All right, I know what's up.
You know why.
I know what's up. And then he'll start talking about the Hispanic dudes he pulling up, and he'll give like full description. I'm like, ain't this about a bitch? Okay, but he's not doing them dirty or nothing like that.
Right.
He's just like, yeah, this stupid motherfucker tried to talk shit, so I said, get out the car now. I'm like, what? Just because he talking shit?
Yeah.
Yep. Now you gotta do what I say you to do, or you getting detained. I'm like, wow, that's how y'all work? He's like, that's in the rule book. I'm like, what? So so thinking like that, so I'm sitting here, damn, I don't know. This is gonna be kind of hard. And then, like she said, she was always around. Like, honestly, before her, I consider myself a good dude. I always work hard. Like when I was 13, I had a car wash business on my block. You know what I'm saying? So I would wash cars. My pops had a carpet cleaning company, so I would clean carpets, all that kind of stuff. So I was always a hard worker. But
man of all trades.
Yeah, right. And then when I was working for the school board, I was making like $80,000 a year before I was 21.
Damn.
You get what I'm saying? And so to see that kind of money, you like, okay, well, the chicks that's coming around, they expect you to pay for fucking everything. Well, I ain't never had no female code. I got it. They don't even worry about it. I got it.
Oh, dude, when I went over one of the first times, his whole entire fridge was empty. There was nothing to eat in the house. There was no, you know what I mean, like a total bachelor pad.
Yeah.
I was about to leave and
the
go do my
futon and the
own
blanket.
thing. Yeah. I was about to leave and go do
Couple
my
beers.
own thing. And I called him.
Not even, bro.
Damn.
Yeah, no, there was nothing. There was nothing in there at all.
I had maybe 2 eggs.
Liquor bottles, but nothing to eat.
Okay, so there was liquor bottles only because at my job I had a connect at a liquor store. So one of the office chicks had a crush on me, but her husband owned the liquor store.
Shit.
So I was like, well, tell your husband I want some Hypnotic, I want some Hennessy, I want everything that's at the club right now. So I ain't got to do nothing because my apartment, I sit on the second floor and I overlook the pool. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, oh, I'm set. You know what I'm saying? All I got to do is bring whoever coming over. We got the drinks. You want to go chill? We go down to the pool and come right back to the room. You know what I'm saying? So I already had the shit planned out.
Yeah, he did.
So, and it didn't work out.
No, and it was like one day I was there, I left, I told him I was going around the corner to get some, I used to smoke the mini grape Swisher sweets.
Okay.
And it was like specific places that sold them that were actually fresh. So I was going to that spot and I had told him and he gave me a call and he was like, oh, where are you at? And I'm like, oh, I'm at Carl's Jr. or whatever. Can you grab me something to eat? And in my head I was like, damn, that's pretty fucking bold. And then I was like, bitch, you saw his house don't have no food in it. Like, he's legitimately hungry. Yeah. And I was like, yes, I can get you something to eat. I'll be right back. And I got us something to eat. And that was kind of really just what set it off. Like, we've always kind of complimented each other in the sense of, like we grind. Like, what's the focus? Let's get it done. And that was really one of the things that kind of, like, linked us first is that I was into makeup. So I was always doing, like, fashion shows. And I was doing hair and stuff. And I wanted to start a business with my friends. But it was just like me and two gay guys.
That is right.
Yeah, it was me and two gay guys. And so, I'm like, well, I want to bring him in because he can do XYZ and XYZ. And then one of them was like, how do I know this is going anywhere? How do I know that you guys aren't going to break up and then it's going to be, messy and XYZ? And I was like, we can do contracts. And that's kind of how I started getting to like writing the contracts and being behind the scenes.
Professional and making sure you dot all your I's, cross all your T's.
Yeah. And it wasn't like me and my friend kind of like stopped talking after that because I wasn't about to let his concerns stop us from collaborating and working together. And we ended up building our first business, which was Beauty for Pleasure, out there in LA.
I'll ask you this one. When was the first time you ever seen a picture that was from behind the scenes of something? So like you had a photo shoot, a video shoot or something like that, and then you like see people taking pictures of the actual scene. When was the first time you seen that?
Like any type of scene? Like
yeah, like it don't matter what type of scene.
So maybe probably about 15 years ago they did not Transformer, but one of them like racing, like one of them type of action racing movies. I want to say it was Need for Speed or one of those Need for Speed or
the Fast and Furious thing.
No. It was a Need for Speed movie, but then it was also like Transformers. They did part of it in Detroit.
Okay.
And a lot of people was going to the sets and was taking pictures of them and posting them online.
Okay.
That was still around the same time.
Yeah, I was about to say, so around that same time, bro, I was doing the photo shoots with her, trying to see taking pictures and post them online. Well, I ain't never seen nobody do that at the time. I'm like, why ain't nobody posting pictures behind the scenes? Like, don't nobody know how makeup gets done?
Because people are like infatuated with like the after product, like
right.
But now we in a more like in a world where information is like accessible now. You don't want to just see people like do a podcast. You want to see them getting ready for the podcast, setting up, people taking pictures. People want to relate to you, want to see that everyday process.
Yeah.
So a lot of the times,
I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see how that expanded too, because I remember it took like a couple years, and I'm like, why you keep taking pictures? Don't take no. Nah, either you gonna kick me out, or you gonna know I'm taking pictures.
Right.
That's the rule. That's the rule. If I'm here, I'm taking pictures of what she's doing before and after.
I mean, that supports her business as well because, people, like I said, people don't want to just see the after effect. They want to see like, okay, how did she apply this part? Like, okay, did she have to wash the lady's face?
It's funny you say that because I got so into like helping her, and we was getting so busy. We was doing like fashion shows, bro. Like we was on like red carpets. We had model trainings and shit like that we was doing, to where she was so busy, I had to learn how to do makeup myself. Yeah. So I'm sitting there, bro, and as a straight man.
Yes.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
No, it ain't nothing wrong with it.
It threw people off. It just
everybody was thrown off.
Shout out to the Lit Cup.
Shout out
to the Lit Cup. You feel me? Shout out Good Zaza my cup. You know what I'm saying?
Good Zaza.
It's a cup where you can indulge in your favorite liquor. You know what I'm saying? I'm not much of a drinker, but you know what I'm saying, for everybody that's out there that's a drinker and you like to smoke, you can drink and smoke in the cup. Good Zaza in my cup. Now, that's the sweet part about it. If y'all really rocking with Smoke Some Podcast, get us to 4,000 subscribers on YouTube, 5,000 subscribers on the gram, and we doing a giveaway. We're going to do a giveaway to our most loyal supporters. We was going to do it to where we was going to just do a random giveaway, but we're going to give it to the people that really rock with us. So if you really want to lick up, you can purchase them at zazamugs.com. You know what I'm saying? Tap in with Smoke Some Podcast. We do the delivery. Make sure y'all tap in.
It was just weird, like, of course, being a straight man out here going, okay, yeah, I'm over here with my lady. I'm helping her out.
Right.
But it's not like the women see her with me.
Yeah.
As I'm getting ready to do the makeup. So I'm like, oh, yeah, go ahead and sit down. I'll get your foundation done. I'll get everything else started up. How the fuck you know about foundation? What do you know? I was like, oh, well, you got some red spots. Let me get the green stick for you. You know about the green stick? Hold up. You look like you straight, but they give you that look. I'm like, no, I'm straight. That's my lady right here. I'm just helping my wife. Oh, that's your wife. She will be.
Yeah.
Like just I'm in my lane right now. Just help her out.
I mean, I don't like that. I don't like that kind of like narrative about relationships where like a woman has to do just this, or a man have to do just that. Like, y'all could have started a plumbing company.
Yeah.
She could have been a head plumber.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like relationships and women and men shouldn't be defined by, what they do or how they do things together. Like,
facts. And that's kind of what like sets us apart a lot of times from people too. Is that like I know a lot of people see me here at the festival and they're like, oh, I can't believe she's doing that. And it's like, but we all have the same capabilities, at least if we're able-bodied, to be able to do different things. So if he's moving rocks, I can move rocks. You know what I mean? Like, we kind of just try to help each other do different things to, like, he gets tired different times. I get to different times that I get tired. So, I mean, it's really just about complimenting each other, picking each other up when the other one is down, or, you know, and we started learning that when we left California.
Right.
Was it 2013?
12, I think.
Yeah, 2012, 2013 was like, if you don't work, I can work and you can do stuff at the house, or, you know, so there's been, like, after we had the baby 10 months ago, he's been a stay-at-home dad. I've been the one working, and I don't have to go anywhere to work. I work from the computer, but it's still different.
I mean, it's still a job at the same time too, because I'm pretty sure some things that you may not quite understand and that he can help you with. So it's always a partnership.
Yeah.
There's always something that where y'all can interchangeable. Okay, you doing this today, I'm doing this, or I'm usually strong at this. Could you teach me how to do this? Like, it's just one of those things to where it's forever a partnership.
Yeah. I mean, 'cause I remember when we had Zion Glory in Colorado, I was working as an addiction counselor. I was working at Costco. I was doing that job, working because I was doing our products and then also selling them too. So it was like, okay, I'm building the house up. I'm doing repairs on the house. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was multifaceted, and she was stay at home. You know what I'm saying? Like, you figure out where we're gonna be going to sell these products. I'll make sure I'm the face of them. I'll get everybody at the table, and you just get the money. You know, that was kind of how it was, and then that got tiring, and we like, okay, like she said, now.
Well, we wanted to expand, really. That's part of what tied into the land is we wanted to build our own production space to be able to create our own products.
Right.
But to also create jobs in an area that didn't have jobs like this area. And then we kind of just got sidetracked, honestly, when we got here. It wasn't... So
that's where I was kind of going towards next, but I want to kind of like take a step back as well. Like, you guys obviously traveled a lot of different places before you got here. What about those different places that you traveled to ultimately led you to want to decide to be here?
I mean,
it wasn't that. It wasn't. So when we were in California, he was constantly getting tickets. Anytime he drove on the road, he would get pulled over and get a ticket, no matter what kind of car he was driving. And it just got to the point where we felt like we were drowning. We couldn't, no matter how much we tried to come up, something was always kicking us down. And we were like, shit, maybe we should just go somewhere where it's not so expensive to live. Like, it's so expensive in California. Like, I mean, shit, we were going through almost an ounce a week or 2 ounces a week smoking weed.
Yeah, so how our pay, she used to work for the county, I worked for the school board. She would get paid this week, I would get paid next week. And each week we was buying 2 ounces a week. Boom, 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 boom. I'm like, man, this is fucking too much. Like, like, we paying like $200 an ounce sometimes to get some good shit. I'm like,
and then it was also the wanting to get married part. So like, we wanted to get married. We lived together. At the time we were Christian, and we went to church, and they refused to marry us because we lived together. Because the pastor's daughter had got pregnant out of wedlock right before we went to him for our first meeting.
But I don't know. I don't see the correlation. Like, what would that have to do with y'all? Like, at that point, y'all were.
Oh, he had a chip on his shoulder about it.
So
because he brought it up during our session.
So for clarification, how old were y'all at the time?
Oh, he was like, you were 21, 22.
Yeah, 21.
I'm like, 2 years older, so I was around 24, 25.
So that's a difference between like a young teenager having a child and two able adults wanting to get married to do the right thing.
Right.
So, you know what I'm saying?
And we were sleeping in different rooms.
So
in our
also,
own apartment.
what the problem was that I knew the Bible more than he did. So because he was going through his own personal stuff, of course his sermons was derived around that problem, right? So he can point the finger, look at what you doing, and all y'all other ones that's doing this, y'all, shame on y'all. Well, I'll go back after we'll have our, our session in church. That's what you're doing right now. It says not to do in the Bible, right?
Right.
If you're our interceder, you're supposed to teach us, not hurt us.
Right.
Not point, not try to point my thorn out, because you got 10 thorns in your eyes too.
Your judgment shouldn't hold that much weight and to be expressed in that type of way.
Yeah.
Like, it's a difference between, like, I understand people are, close to their pastors and spiritual leaders, but at the same point, you got to know when you kind of overstepping. Like, because everything don't work for everybody.
Right. And what he was proposing was just out of it. Like, so we were, I knew it was coming. So I'm like, we got to sleep in different beds. So I'm sleeping in the bed. He's sleeping on the couch. that wasn't enough for the pastor. He wanted us to get different apartments, live in them for 6 months, then come back. I'm like, that's ridiculous.
And then
That's
come back
so
together
much
and get
money.
married. Why would we leave each other
Yeah.
and then come back together to get married? Like, you sound
Yeah.
fucking stupid.
And we didn't have the money for it. So I'm like, that's super expensive. That's not what we're trying to do. Even when we left, we tried to make donations and the church wouldn't take it.
Yeah.
I would have went to Vegas at that point.
Yeah.
Damn.
We did. We ended up going to the court and just getting
Okay.
married.
Yeah.
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 Because of how different our families are, we just knew that like a traditional wedding wasn't going to be like great,
nah.
you know?
Like, even to this day, our families really haven't met. Like, her mom and my dad
yeah.
have met. My mom and my dad, my sister.
But not extended family.
That's it. Like, my mom, my dad, my sister, my possible brother. Right?
Don't even.
Yeah, right. Let's say it like that. My possible brother.
But it's never been like all of our families together at once, just because they're so different, and I don't think they all have the type of understanding that we have with each other to where we can all learn from each other.
Yeah, no, they
Yeah.
definitely don't.
Yeah.
They definitely
I
don't.
mean, as long as y'all parents, man, that's all that matters for
It's
real.
Yeah.
true. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
parents, siblings,
Yeah.
Right.
auntie, uncle,
No,
they
I know her
kids.
whole family. She knows
Yeah.
my whole family, but to put them together, it's not gonna happen. Like,
It's honestly probably gonna happen for his birthday the first time.
yeah,
Yeah.
actually, huh?
Yeah.
So we tried it once. Her dad retired from the force, right?
Okay.
Oh yeah.
He was retired from the sheriff department. With my mom, my dad, my sister came. My dad is sitting there shitting it like, oh, I recognize that motherfucker.
Oh, because
Yep.
it's the thing with cops and detectives from LA County.
So my dad was in Wayside. He's been in a bunch of different jails and prisons and stuff. So he's like, oh, that motherfucker right there. I hate him. And I know. Oh, they looking at me. I gotta go.
He was all nervous.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
was only there for like maybe an hour, and then he forced my mom and my sister to want to leave. I was like, wow. All right, so
That's
that's
disgusting.
like kind of how it goes. So I'm like, yeah, it's not gonna work really. I don't see it.
Yeah.
How long have you guys been married?
12.
12 years. Yeah.
So how have you
Yeah.
got like from since that point, like how have you guys like seen differences within each other?
All the time, honestly.
Right.
Like we butt heads, but we always get to the point where we can see it as an opportunity to either learn how the other one thinks or understand. But I mean, sometimes just like the way that we process stuff is like, he'll tell me, oh, this is how I got to this number, and I'm like, that's backwards. I got to it this way by doing it from the front. And so we just try to talk stuff out. I mean, that's the best way to kind of get through stuff like that, is just be able to reason with each other, you know, as opposed to like arguing or debating or
Yeah.
like that really doesn't help.
It's more that we have to understand that our situations that we was raised with is different.
Right.
So like, yeah, we both had mom and dad in the house, but it was different. Like I grew up with a bunch of domestic violence, right?
Okay.
So there's certain things that if we get into an argument,
It triggers you.
yeah, it's a trigger, and I'm not trying to be around. I don't need to be around you. I don't want to fucking talk to you right now. Like, I'm not trying to argue because, like, I know myself. I have 3 different levels. I can talk to you like this and reason with you. We're gonna argue for a second, and then after that argument gets so far, then I have to, you know, it just escalates from there. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not a man of many words. So if you're not understanding what I'm saying, I can't explain it. Then what am I talking for?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of where we come from, and then.
And on the opposite end, I'm more like, let's sit down and talk it out. So we've gone through phases too. Like in Colorado, we were very much like, let's set up like guidelines and rules. So like certain triggers, like he doesn't call me a bitch, I don't call him a bitch. Like certain things we just don't do.
Yeah.
It's like a line you don't cross. And then we were at the point where it's like there has to be a blunt and rotation if we're gonna sit here and argue or reason about something, because we're long-winded. Somebody needs a break. Somebody needs to interject. So it helped us kind of like take a break, take a breather. But also stuff changes. So like we don't really do that anymore because we've kind of practiced it so much that we're just like, stay away from triggers. If you need a break, let him walk away. You know what I mean? Like things like that. I had to get used to. Like I also, like, my dad thought that he was in love with one of his partners, so he left my mom for a short while when we were kids.
Okay.
And it was traumatic for me only because when he left, he threw a pair of keys at the door, and they flew like right past my head, and I remember them being like stuck around the
Stuck right
doorknob,
there, yeah.
and I was like, shit, that could have been my face.
And that moment stick with you.
It
With certain
does.
triggers when
When
people
he
don't
goes
sit
to leave.
and don't sit down and talk.
Yes.
So it's kind of like you guys are kind of like vying for the same point, but you have different perspectives on it. So it's like
Exactly.
sometimes it's not okay to walk away.
Yeah.
Let's sit here and talk. I'm walking away. We're not going to talk. We can talk about this later.
Yeah.
Put a pin on it.
Yeah.
No facts. Like, and there's been times like even like that. Okay, look, I'm at my limit. I'm trying to overstand you. I can't get it. Like, I'm done. I'm done. Like, I'll sit here, but I'm done. And she'll sit there. She'll be talking to me. I'm
Right.
looking off the, looking everywhere else, and playing with my beard. And okay, okay, I'm sorry. That's just you want. Okay, I'm sorry. All right,
sometimes you gotta. It's a process working out those different. Like, I'm upset with you, but I love you. So it's like you make me laugh. I'm like, that's funny. I ain't gonna laugh at the first one. The second one, damn it, you got me. Fuck.
Hey, facts.
You know what I'm saying?
It's
Like,
happened like that.
yeah, the relationships is like universal like that. Like, everybody got their different language and how they want to be talked to, and you just gotta find that sweet spot to where you can, build upon those needs.
Yeah, and like just understanding, like just because he's walking away doesn't mean he doesn't care or he doesn't love me. Just because I'm trying to sit here and talk about it doesn't mean I'm trying to nag. You know what I mean? Because that's what used to be like, why are you nagging me? It's like, I'm not nagging you.
I'm just trying to get my point across.
Like, you gotta push the issue for real.
Yeah.
Like,
nah, because because like you gotta think about it. I know with me, I'm like an emotional person to a certain degree. Like, if I feel a certain way, I just can't just be like, I just cannot say it. Like, I have very quick intrusive thoughts. So if I feel like something, if I feel like I need to say something and it's the truth, I'm gonna say it. I can't hold it in. I can't be like, you know what, man, fuck it, and walk away. Like, no, I gotta say it. Like,
That's me.
Like, it's just,
That's
and then on your end, I know who to talk to and who not to talk to. So it's like one of them things where, like, if I'm trying to get a point across and I'm like, you just like, but yeah, you did that. I'm like, all right. This conversation ain't for me. Like, I gotta. We can talk about this another day.
Yeah.
So I can understand both perspectives.
Yeah, facts.
Yeah.
So what kind of led y'all to the New Mexico area and choosing this particular land? Because I'm not gonna lie, this is like a huge space. How many acres or how much of the land is like occupied by you guys?
So occupied, we probably. So
it's a total of 63 acres.
I was about to say, yeah. So it's 63 acres total.
Yeah.
What we actually occupy at the house is maybe 10 acres at the house.
Okay.
And then what we're on right now, the fairgrounds area, the open space is maybe 5.
Okay.
And then we kind of opened up 20 acres for everybody. So for like another 6 acres for VIP, another 10 acres for like the private campers. So that way they can have like little, kind of be secluded and be out in the wilderness and kind of get back in touch with nature. Like the reason why we came this way was we were in Colorado and it wasn't really panning out like we wanted to. We were getting ready to expand and we're like, fuck. We was hoping our families would come out here and see like, hey, look, there's opportunities outside of California, and it wasn't working. And you kind of get that lonely feeling, right? Like, fuck, I kind of miss my family. I kind of want to be around them. And then we were like, okay, we'll get closer. We're not going to California, but we'll get closer.
Right.
So we were looking at Arizona, and then I had found a property that had a river running right through it in Kingman, Arizona. We sold the fucking house. We got on the fucking road, and they sold the fucking property before we got there.
Before we even left Colorado, it was sold, which makes sense because it's like hard to find property in Arizona with water running through it.
Right.
Yeah.
And then we came here and we looked at a lot out here, maybe like 30 minutes from here.
Okay.
And the real estate agent, she couldn't find the property markers. We got there and there was somebody building on it, and we're like, we don't want to get into like a building war, a land war with somebody who's already here. So she kind of asked us like what we were trying to do, and his main thing was like, I just don't want to see my neighbors.
Yeah.
You know, and so she's like, oh, okay, and she brought us to this lot specifically.
Yep.
Because they had just got this lot returned because somebody got cancer and couldn't keep it.
Okay.
And they returned it to the seller. And so we kind of were like, well, we're just gonna hike around a little bit and get a vibe for the land. And somebody in Colorado had taught him how to do the rain dance, and she had told us that they were in a horrible drought and they hadn't had any rain, and the rancher, they depend so much on the rain out here because of the ranching community. So they're ranchers, and she was like, it's really bad. And so he's like, well, let me see if the rain dance will work. So he did it on the property for less than a minute.
Well, first I waited for her to leave. So we was walking the property. We was over here, and I was like, I mean, if you about to leave, can we like stay over here and like see how it's like and stuff like that? She's like, yeah, if you guys want to camp out here, you guys could. You can sleep over the road. I was like, sleep on the road. I'm good. Like we don't sleep on the road, bro.
Nah,
you know what I'm saying?
nah.
But I told her we actually walked up where our homestead is at in that area right now, and I did the rain dance in like maybe 45 minutes, not 45 minutes, 45 seconds.
Yeah.
It was like less than a minute. Like I'm in the dance and I turn directions and I'm already getting hit in the face with rain. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
And then we're running because our car was like all the way down here at the end of the road. We're running with the dogs trying to get to the car, and it just kept pouring harder. I was like, if that's not a sign, I don't know what is. It just went,
like it went from like a light drizzle to like somebody just poured like opened up a container of water and just poured it on you like an ice challenge, bro.
Damn.
So you like trying to run through like, oh dang, like why are we running? Like
Right.
soaking wet now anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, yeah. All the dogs got all bit up by red ants and stuff. Like we felt bad, but it was like something's telling us we need to be here. So we kind of went back to the hotel and we like looked at the layout and everything. And I was just like, I'm good with one lot. You know, like to me, I'm like, I can't see neighbors. But he was just like, we want to build a manufacturing space. We want to do this. I want to do that. I want to grow my own food. I want to grow cannabis. And I was like, all right. So we agreed on the 4 lots at the corner. And we've just been working it since then.
Definitely. So what was that transition period like first living here? Like I'm pretty sure you guys had to like live in like a trailer or
I wish
different variations of.
So we started in a tent.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a 10-person tent.
Yeah, in monsoon season.
With a little solar generator in the roof.
You said what season?
Monsoon season.
Yeah.
So that's like windstorms.
Rain, like heavy rains all the time.
Like unpredictable.
Yeah.
Like right now, it'd be a clear day during monsoon season, and it'd just like a bucket just opened up.
Yeah.
Like literally like broad daylight just
to where it sounds like we've heard it sound like a waterfall coming down.
Damn.
Yeah, bro. Like it gets bad. Like
and in a tent. So that was the other thing is we had a solar generator, but if the sky's like this, you're not getting solar power.
Right.
So we couldn't power a fridge. We couldn't make a fire to make food because the wood was wet.
Yeah.
It was.
It got bad for a second.
It was not fun.
So what was some of those solutions to those problems? Like what did y'all have to do in order
get a
to
hotel room?
Yeah.
That's what he gets mad at me because I wasted a lot of our money because we were in hotel rooms a lot. But the person who sold us the property, they're one of the ranchers that are in this area that like took this area from the indigenous people with the Homestead Act.
Okay.
Their original like great grandfather. So they kind of were like talking to us, concerned about us living in a tent out here.
Yeah.
And when it got closer to winter, they kept asking him like, what are you guys going to do for winter? And he's like, oh, I'm going to build a house. And they're like, you do not have time to build a house. You need to get in a trailer. We have one here for you. It's $1,000. Does that work? And they got us into one of the trailers.
That's dope. That's dope.
Yeah. Nah, I mean, so I don't know how many people who listen to the podcast have ever stayed in a hotel for an extended period of time.
I'm pretty sure it's a few of them.
Yeah, so you're right. So y'all know how expensive that shit is. Right. I mean, I think at one time we paid about $2,500 for a week.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh man, this is at a Motel 6.
Yeah.
Bro, and then we ended up staying in the hotel for like almost a month.
Yeah.
I'm like, babe, this fucking money was supposed to be used for something else. Like, we could be in something else, not using it for this.
Yeah, because we thought for sure we made $50,000 off the house in Colorado.
Okay.
We thought that would fund the land, the house, but like the land outright, and that wasn't even enough to cover the land outright out here. Where we came up at was they actually kind of came after us. A group in the area started making up lies about us, got felonies and stuff put on us, but we had them try to illegally take the land from us. So
really,
we actually we represented ourselves pro se in court against the most prestigious law firm in the state of New Mexico, and we won. And so we only paid like a portion of the land, $27,000 for something that would have costed us like what, 60 or 70.
It was 71. Yep.
Yeah.
Damn. Yeah. So let's go back a little bit. So,
he's like, wait.
So, if you don't mind, you don't have to. But who are these people, and why are they trying to take away this particular part of the land? Seeing that they could have got it before you guys.
Exactly.
So why get it?
Yeah.
So, I like that you said they could have got it before us, because when we bought these lots, the 4 lots that we have, everybody in the subdivision was like, dang, y'all got the ones that nobody want. I was like, seriously? Why nobody want all the rocks? I was like, well, that's privacy, bro. I can't see none of y'all climbing these rocks to come get to me if that's what it is.
No.
And of course, they're all white people out in this area.
Yeah.
When we talk about ranchers, it's always the Wild West when you see them. You don't never see the natives, the indigenous groups on cows and horses and shit like that no more. Although we do have some pueblos that out here now that I realize that they are still farming like that and doing cowboy stuff.
Right.
However, but we're talking about our white people from southern states. You know what I'm saying? So
they come with a different.
West Virginia.
Yeah.
Louisiana.
We can
like
say it
deep
without
South
saying it. Yeah. We can say it without saying it. Yeah.
Right.
You know, like down South Florida.
Yep.
You know, what are you doing over here kind of stuff, you know?
And part of it was also that, like, they were kind of like antagonizing us. People were coming down at night, driving past and stuff like that. And I kind of spoke up, and they don't like that out here. Like, one, I'm a brown woman. Two, I'm a woman.
Yeah, when women out here speak their mind in general, no matter where you are, it can be a white woman, a brown woman, a purple woman, don't matter. If it's a woman in general in the state of New Mexico, you are shunned for that shit. Like,
why is that the case?
They want you to keep your mouth shut. It's a man's world, right?
To know your place. And, like, word for word, they've told him that, like, hey, you need to get your wife because she needs to know her place.
Yeah. I was like, matter of fact, you don't know your place because if you touch my wife like that, I'm going to punch you in the fucking mouth. So
as you should.
They leave us alone at that extent. However, they cause a lot of damage that we're still repairing. So even today, one of the guys I was talking to on stage, he didn't know who we were. Right? He was like, yeah, you know, you guys having a festival and everything like that. He was like, what's crazy is I was talking to this one guy and he was like, yeah, the Moonies, you know, they're not that great of people. Just be careful. And he was like, the Moonies. He was like, I've never even heard of the Moonies. Like, what's going on? I was like, that's me. That's my last name. He was like, are you fucking kidding me? Why did I say be careful? Kind of the same situation like Ishel told you, like we had to fight the 13 felonies. And he was like, wow, it's crazy. Like, they called you guys squatters. They said, yeah.
Oh, they called us, quote for quote, gun-toting Rastas.
Yeah.
Yes.
Gun-toting Rastas.
Yes.
And then, so supposedly, we were squatting on the land. So we came out here. We didn't pay nothing to get on the land. And I was like, wow, we paid, you know, we paid a $2,500 deposit before we actually signed the contract. When we signed the contract, we paid another $7,500. I was like, so that's over 10 right there.
Right.
I was like, did y'all pay 10 for y'all? He was like, nah, we only had to pay $2,500 to put down. I was like, I was like, what about the other person? He was like, well, they said they didn't have to put nothing down. I was like, now you tell me what the difference is.
Right.
And he was like, wow, wait a minute. He was like, well, this person, where does they come from? I was like, West Virginia. He was like, West Virginia? What the fuck are they doing out here? I was like, you tell me.
Yeah,
you tell me. And then I was like, it seems like they found a lot of like-minded people.
Yeah.
Until what they were saying about people didn't come true. So they had told us, hey, you know, this one person, don't go talk to her. She's super racist. She's fucking hateful. Don't talk to her. She doesn't like you guys. Yeah. Right? So, okay. Take it as, I don't know you. I don't know her. We're new here. So I'm going to take your word as fact. Don't talk to her. Well, this lady makes 100 Crime Stoppers reports on us. Saying, oh, they're manufacturing methamphetamine, they have cannabis, they have 1,000 plants, they're trafficking from California to Colorado to Texas, and we're like, what? Well, only reason why we know who this person is because when the cops block off our road, we're getting ready to go to Home Depot and pick up some shit because we're trying to build some stuff.
Right.
Well, there's 6 cop cars at the top of the road, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So I park down the hill and I walk up. Hey, what's going on? Whole time she's recording, right? We not stupid. What's going on? Oh, yeah, you know, our cars got stuck in the snow. No, it's a 1/4 inch of snow on the ground.
Not even any mud.
It literally just snowed for a 1/4 inch and it's still too cold for it to melt. Yeah. What kind of car are you in? Oh, my Impalas. Your Impala got stuck in the snow? It took 5 other sheriff's trucks to come up here and get you unstuck? Well, I mean, we heard about, you know, the campground you guys have going on, and
okay.
I was like, oh.
It's starting to make sense. Like, okay, more and more they try to, like, you guys piece it together, the more you realize, like, it's just some bullshit.
Yeah.
And just more stuff that we heard from people. Like, we met most of our neighbors because they were told that there's gun-toting Rastas, and they wanted to see what gun-toting Rastas look like.
Yeah.
So, of course, they come down and we're like, hey, how are you? And they're like, y'all don't seem aggressive. And I'm like, why would we?
But why Rastas out of everything?
Oh, well, we used to have dreadlocks.
Yeah. So
okay.
We just cut them off. Yeah.
I just lost my sister not too long ago on top of a couple other things. And I had a couple of messages that I was ignoring, and I couldn't ignore them any longer. So it's just time for a restart. So even right now, like I got my natties coming back in just slowly but surely.
Yeah.
It was a good 7-8 years. Yeah.
So, kind of like to go further into this point about these different people, like, were you guys ever discouraged to be like, all right, let's just leave and?
Oh hell yeah!
Hell
I mean,
yeah.
especially after like they wouldn't even leave us alone in court. Like we're going to court to fight these charges, and they're showing up to court and antagonizing us,
In
sitting
front of the
behind
judge.
us, talking shit to us in the courtroom, and I'm just like, what is the point? Like, why are we even here doing this? Nobody even cares about what we're doing. Like, let's just leave.
Right.
But then we heard that we were like the sixth family of color, mixed family of color with dreadlocks that
Specifically
they've done this to in the area. They've kicked out all these people because they've done the same thing that they're doing to us. And we kind of got to the point where we're like, if we leave, there's nothing that we leave behind to warn the next family of color.
Right.
They're gonna run into the exact same issues. They're gonna go through the exact same things, and I didn't want that on my conscience to be like, well, we're just gonna leave and let them win, pretty much.
Right.
Because I mean, what about the community? What about other people who want to homestead and have this same vision?
Right.
They're gonna come out here unknowing and catch all this crap, and really us saying is an act of resistance.
Yeah, and it's an act of resistance, and also like trying to notify people because we tried it once or 3 times. So 2 families came out here, asked us questions, and hey, so what's it really like out here? We've seen the story that you guys put out there. We've seen like the GoFundMe. We've seen the with the signature
Petition.
thing, the petitions that you guys had out. Like, what's really going on? So we broke it down for them, showed them the examples. They experienced it. One family didn't listen to us, and now the guy is actually in jail right now, accused of murder.
False murder charges they put on him.
Yeah. So the whole community has already said they know he didn't do it, but there's 2 people, including one sheriff officer that lives there, that said he did it. So in the state of New Mexico, they say innocent until proven guilty, but that's not what they mean.
I mean, even the system in general, period. But we've really lived it.
Yeah.
Even now, I'm still fighting charges for the exact same complaint that I fought the first time. Somebody came down here and said word for word the exact same complaint, and I have a new set of charges on me for the same thing that never even happened.
And this time they didn't do no investigation. The first time they came and they raided us and all that other stuff. This time they was like, okay, go to court. Yeah, just send some court paperwork. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Is this real?
Yeah, and they did grand jury hearing on me, and I just got a letter saying I had charges against me.
So that's weird. Okay, so you guys both had charges.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all both fought them independently against one of the state's premier law offices.
Yep.
And I'm assuming most of yours is wrapped up.
Oh, mine is all done.
Yeah.
And then they're still kind of antagonizing you about.
Yeah, they dropped all mine. They were all dismissed with prejudice, and then somebody came down and started antagonizing us again and left and was like, oh, that chick stopped me in the road with a gun and threatened to kill me.
Okay, because that was my thing. Because it's people, they brought up the charges, but I was gonna ask y'all what are the specific charges, but I know you just said one. How do they hold a merit if there's no substantial proof or?
So according to New Mexico,
Yeah.
any testimony by a witness is considered evidence.
So what about you guys? I'm pretty sure you guys have character witnesses.
I had an audio of the recording from the very first set of charges. We emailed it to the DA. Didn't matter.
Yeah, we've sent in over 100 character statements just for her specifically to get her out of jail.
Didn't matter.
Yeah.
So does that go back to the narrative that you brought up earlier about women in New Mexico versus men?
Yep. It's serious. I tell her all the time. The only reason why they're still fucking with her is because she won't stop talking to him.
Right.
And the only time she stops talking to him is by staying on the property. You don't fucking with him. So
We had some people earlier that were like, I've never met you, but I've met your husband. And I'm like, yeah, you can thank those fuckers who keep fucking with me for that. Because now I'm at the point where if we're communicating and I'm not comfortable with you, I'm going to record.
Right.
And if I'm not comfortable in the community, then I'm going to stay on my property where I'm being recorded and I can prove that I didn't do whatever it is the fuck that y'all saying.
Right.
Yeah. So, and I don't want people to come out here and live like that. so that's kind of why we also do the festivals, is so that the community can get used to seeing black
that
and brown
outreach and that
people.
integration
Yeah.
with you guys.
Yeah,
And also so they can say that we ain't going nowhere.
Exactly. Like, you can't just run black people and brown people off of indigenous land.
Well, I commend you guys for standing your ground and standing on principle and pushing the line, just saying like, hey, I know this is unconventional for y'all, but this is conventional for us. This is where we stand. This is what we believe in. You need to support or move along, pretty much.
Exactly.
You know, like,
yeah.
we're not budging.
Not hurting nobody. You know, that was
Right.
my thing. Is like, yeah, if you listen to what they were saying, definitely sounds like we're hurting people, but it honestly tore the whole community apart. From like Cibola County, we're right on the edge of Catron County, McKinley County is like more Gallup. All of those areas, like, you could just tell who was racist and who wasn't, because there was people like, we've met them before and she doesn't seem like that. And it's like, no, because I'm not. But if you let them tell it, then they're just amping each other up, and you know.
Yeah, it seems in like, maybe it's always been like this in life, but once a certain group of people push a certain narrative, people just kind of sort of ride with it until they get to meet you and see, you know, what's going on, and they're like,
Yes, and that's why I ended up working at the restaurant in town in Camado called the Largo. I was working there for a minute, almost a year, huh?
Yeah.
I was a head cook there, and then I ended up working at Sierra Propane, which is another spot in Camado, just so people can see, hey, this is who I am. I know you heard about me. Now you can see my face, and I'm in your house.
So what was the idea and the perspective from you guys on starting this event, you know what I'm saying, from its inception into actually having that first event?
I mean, honestly, it's to be free. You know, we moved out here to be free, right? And at first it was a Ganja Freedom Fest, one, because it was for 420. We had already been throwing events in Denver. We had the Mile High Experience. We had a couple different other retreats that we were doing out there.
Okay.
And we were getting ready to start doing bigger retreats out there, but for an acre of land, they want to charge us $7,000 for one day.
Damn.
And I was like, well, this is fucking ridiculous. You know, so I'm not about to pay your whole year's bill.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? For
plus
one day.
taxes.
Yeah.
Plus taxes.
Plus taxes.
Right? So we ended up coming out. So we ended up, you know, just coming out here and going, you know what, y'all don't want us out here? We're going to bring as many different people out here as we can. We're going to make cannabis as free as we can, as well as other plant medicines. So
it was also that people are scared to come out here, because black and brown people were like, I'm not driving down that dirt road. I'm not going to the middle of fucking nowhere. Like, but now people can be like, I know if I can at least get to Mujeres Valley, that
it's fine.
It's safe. You know? And we want
the first event, like, how did you guys get to the point where you guys wanted to do events here? And
so go ahead.
Yeah, so we initially wanted the land to be like family land, so that our family can come build houses out here. We can all stop owing so much damn money. But like we said earlier, our families really weren't open to that. There's still limited family that's come out to see us.
Right.
But we also wanted it to be like extended family, like, you know, soul family. So we were hoping that community members would want to come out, build houses, homestead with us, and we could live again together in community. We'd help each other, raise each other's kids, cook, clean together. But like I said, it's scary for people to come to an area that they don't know. So our workaround kind of for that was like, well, let's do something out here. Let's host something, or you know, make it to where people have a reason to come out here. Plus, we knew we had the campground, and we wanted people to do events here, but we kept hearing like, oh, well, there's no water, there's no bathrooms, there's no this. How do I do it? Like, how is that even possible? So we kind of were like, well, let's just show people then. Like, there's answers to all of those things. There's just coordination things that you got to do. So that's really how it started. And then legalization hit, and we're like, yeah, we got to do this. We got to make safe spaces for cannabis.
And just to add on to that one, like, one thing we realized here is that, like Michelle was saying, there's nothing to do out here, right? Mm-hmm. Well, we've been here for 7 years, and every year there's about 35 people who graduate from high school out in Camado. They have never come back in 7 years. So every year they leave, and we're like, well, how does this town expect to grow when the average person out here is maybe in their 50s? You get what I'm saying? Like, we have people in the hundreds out here. You get what I'm saying? So if the average is in their 50s, that's not even in my group. You get what I'm saying? So y'all not interested in the stuff that I'm doing. Y'all definitely aren't interested in the stuff that the kids are doing. And if the kids are used to just ranching life. You get what I'm saying? Like, there's kids, like, she was a substitute teacher at school, at the school out there. It goes from K to 12. And they were taking freaking laptops and computers out the school. You know what I'm saying? They were taking funding away from the school. So if you're taking funding away from the school, the kids aren't learning. You know what I'm saying? They're not getting programs back to the schools. And then why even stay is what we hear, right? So we're like, well, we'll give y'all a reason to stay. If there's parties, there's jobs out here. Y'all can work the campground. Y'all can work the farm. You get what I'm saying? Like, if y'all okay with cannabis, which most people out here are, we're almost about to have our license. So then we'll be able to make jobs for these people. And that was kind of what the festival is for, is that the community out here needs other jobs outside of being a mechanic, outside of cutting wood, outside of, you know, running cattle.
Manual labor.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you just need something different, and that's what we're trying to do, is just bring something different, but it's still consistent with what's here. You get what I'm saying? Like one of their things, like, they don't want change to come and change the whole thing. It's like, well, if we change one little thing, it's already changed everything.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Just by us staying here and
Right.
not leaving, we've already changed everything, because there was a family out here when we first got here with our same name, right? And they're fucking in Texas right now.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? And there was another black dude in the subdivision next to us who was married to a white woman, and he's gone. You get what I'm saying? So if we stay here, we're already changing the environment. We're already changing the system, because you guys have to see my face at least.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You have to respect me when I come in town. You get what I'm saying? Because I know you need my money.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, when we go to town, like, we used to go to the restaurant in Kamado, we spend $100 easy. Just tip you, eat extra, buy extra food.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Sometimes don't even fucking eat it, give it to the dogs. You get what I'm saying? So
Right.
it was just to put support into the community. So when we stopped supporting the community, they felt it. They're
Yeah.
like, oh shit. So
You miss out
know,
on things you don't appreciate.
Exactly. You know, so like, even we had the in-town restaurant Chabasco's come to the festival 2 years in a row. One, they saved us. The other one, they kind of, you know, flaked on some stuff and didn't come through. They got some people sick on the food, so they wasn't here this year. But you know, it's just different. So like, the kids, they don't want to be cooks.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? They cook at home all day.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Like, the fun for them is not shooting guns. Like, for us,
Yeah.
we come out here and go boom, 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 boom. Oh man, I ain't even getting no trouble. Man, they at 5 years old, they got guns. You get what I'm saying? They got
They're
Right.
rifles.
hunting. Yeah.
They going on hunting trips 3
Yeah.
4 times a year already by 5 years old. You get what I'm saying? So
They've lived that. They've lived
they live everything it is to be out here. So
Right.
Yeah.
why stay?
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? And then they go to California and can't afford to come back.
yeah, because it's a culture shock. It's two different environments.
Yeah.
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 And then they're like, oh, well, I can do this. Well, we ain't got no jobs like that in the city. So
Yeah. Yeah, it's very true.
So how did the festival come from being like a great idea to actually something that you guys like, all right, this is what we're gonna do?
me pushing.
Mm-hmm.
When I want something, I push.
He does.
Like, I hate to say it like that, but you know, sometimes you got to go for what you want. And I remember growing up around the USC campus, and every year at the Coliseum for Halloween, they would shut it down and throw a big ass fucking rave, and we would jump the fences and hit the rave. I'm like, that's what's going on over here? Oh shit! Okay, I can't wait till they let me in this shit.
Right.
Well, lo and behold, when I got around that age to go to that, raves wasn't for people like us. You get what I'm saying? Like, you hardly
Traditionally.
see, yeah,
Yeah,
you get what I'm
traditionally.
saying? You'll see 1 or 2 black people at the rave, and you're like, ah, man, I don't know.
But see, that's the difference between, like, I guess, being from different places, because like, people in Detroit don't look at it as raves, but raves are very popular in Detroit because techno music was birthed in Detroit.
Is that
That's where techno music comes from. So people of color like us won't look at it like, oh, that's a rave. But you get people of other cultures, they come in, they hear the music, they see the environment, they like, that's a rave.
Okay.
So raves are very popular.
Interesting.
But it's just the difference of like culture,
How we
how we look at it, yeah. Because
Interesting.
I've been to plenty, and it's always something different and for the music and the different things. Yeah,
That's great. And like you said, it's just like the different places, because where I'm from, bro, like the music I listen to now, my friends think I'm weird.
Yeah.
They're like, you listen? Yeah, bro, I listen to all of this.
I mean, you gotta have a good verse in music. Like I listen to all the time. I listen to jazz. I listen to R&B, rap, rock, country, jazz, blues,
What about bluegrass?
everything.
Okay.
I might not always know the artist. But
Right,
I might listen to like the instrumental versions of it where it might not have words to a song and the producer put it up, or if I hear it in a random movie, I might be like, damn, let me Shazam this. What song is this?
Facts, facts.
I'm always on Shazam.
Yeah. I'm always like, even like I don't know what would the term be, but like indigenous style music, where
Yeah.
you can hear like the different instruments and they do they spiritual calls and different things like that. Like,
And you said it right.
yeah.
We've been corrected enough since we've been in New Mexico.
Right.
Some of them like to be called native, some like to be called indigenous, and then some still like to be called Indians. You know.
Or I kind of steer away from the Indian part
Yeah.
because to me that's kind of derogatory. You know what I'm saying? Like, I go more so. I ask them like, what tribe are you from?
Yep.
And then if they don't care to like disparage, then I'm like, indigenous.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if y'all watch the NFL, but they had to clean up a lot of that stuff too, and a lot of that type of culture. 'Cause it's like you get accustomed to saying certain stuff, but that don't make it right.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, everybody know about the N word. Just because we're black, that don't mean that we should always project it in that way for real. Because like, you know, like the way how we may look at it about it people outside of that culture might look at it like that shit negative. Like, you just you know, they don't look at it like how we look at it. But
Yes.
That's true.
what was that first annual event like for you guys? Like, you know, getting your feet wet and taking that leap of faith.
Oh my gosh, it was
stressful.
It was exhausting. Yeah, like this one, you got to see us a little more level-headed and chill, and we kind of had a little bit of a structure. But that first one, it was like everything went wrong, and there was like way more people here our very first year because it was right out of COVID.
Right, and it was new and it was fresh.
Yep. It was like the first type of event like that. Like, there's like cannabis events out here, but they're pop-ups like 2 hours. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm like,
Right.
well, I'm not about to have no 2-hour event, bro. Like, that's fucking stupid. And then
It's a lot of energy.
Yeah, like I said, like even with me, I push. So like our first event, we had artists come out from Jamaica. We had people come out from Africa. We had people from Cali, Colorado, Texas, Florida, New York, pretty much all over, bro.
And all different types of music because he loves listening to all types of music.
I think we had close to 37 artists on the first year.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was literally Friday to Sunday, jam-packed with music. And like she said, you know, things go wrong and you go, fuck.
Yeah, but you learn from them though.
Yeah.
So we don't pack everything in no more. We assume that one or two performers may or not, you know, make it, may or may not communicate that they're not coming.
Right.
So we got that part of it. But even this year we had, I told Ishelle even before the festival, I was like, we need to be careful because it seems like the year of loss. And when I say loss, I'm not talking about financial loss. Like I said, I lost my sister. She lost her grandfather. I lost
Condolences.
my auntie. She lost her mom while I was here. You get what I'm saying? So while we was here, we had one artist had to get rushed to the hospital, who I haven't seen out of the hospital just yet. You get what I'm saying? We had another one who had to rush her daughter to the hospital, and I just sent an email from her, and she kind of went into detail. I was like, oh shit, so that was real.
Yeah.
You know, because sometimes you'll hear, oh, you know, there's a family emergency, and you go,
Sure, yeah.
How convenient that you
30
and
minutes
seven other
before,
motherfuckers.
like, all right, yeah.
You know?
You were right at the border when you had to turn around. I was like, yeah, right.
Yeah.
But no, like we've had several emails of people have lost people this weekend and they just couldn't come. And we just got to roll with it and know that people aren't being malicious. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Because some of these people have canceled on us before. We've still made an attempt to bring them back. Next year we'll make an attempt to bring them back again.
Yeah.
But yeah, that first year, it was exhilarating, honestly, because it was like we sat back and got to see what you saw this weekend for the very first time. And it was like, it's crazy because I go up at night when the music is still going and I lay down. But I stand outside of the house and you can feel the energy. Besides just being able to hear the music, the energy, I was just like, it's weird. Let me pay attention to when people leave. And when everyone left, the energy was so different. And I don't think people could never wrap their heads around that if they don't live out here. You know what I mean? But it's definitely different. The trees react differently. The plants react differently. Shit that's not here before grows. It's wild.
Yeah. So there's a I hate to say it like this, but there's a flower called the Indian paintbrush.
Okay.
Right. And we just talked about it.
Right.
It's an orange flower, but the cowboys out here, they eat them during certain times of the year because they're full of sugar only.
Okay.
It's a sugar flower.
Okay.
So if you eat it at the right time, it tastes like sugar. If you don't, it's real bitter. Right? So I was like, interesting. So the daughter was like, yeah, look. I'm like, wow, you're fucking 3 years old showing me this stuff. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. And like how Ishel said, like some people who come to the festival, unless you're staying to like right now, like there's like no music going on right now. There's not like a lot of people going around. Like the vendors are all gone. You can start to feel that energy. Like, oh shit, it did change a little bit. Like, I mean, there was somebody here who asked me well, he was like, look, I'm gonna ask you a question, but don't look at me weird. I just like, okay, now I'm looking at you weird anyway. He was like, well, do you believe in aliens? I was like, hell yeah. I was like, we get UFOs all the time. He was like, I knew it. I knew I wasn't crazy. I was like, what's going on?
Yeah.
He said, look, there's one right there. And
You just
like,
answered one of my later questions I had for y'all. I was definitely thinking like this is the perfect spot for some shit
It
like
is.
It is. I mean, we got it on video a few times, like just to help advertise the festival. Like, so behind us is Mujeres Mountain, right? So it's called Mujeres Mountain because at certain angles, it looks like a woman laying back. You can see the form of her breasts, her hips, her hair laying down, and everything. It's like
Another angle looks like just her face looking
like,
up at the sky.
just like that.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, this is fucking crazy. Well, damn, I forgot what I was going with it, but
No, you didn't.
nah.
What were you talking about?
The UFOs.
Yeah, the UFOs.
Okay, so when you look at the mountain, I was outside one day cleaning up, getting ready to pull the dogs in. I was like, babe, what the hell is that? The moon's not supposed to be over here. The moon's supposed to be on the right side, but the moon wasn't out at all. I was like, what the fuck is the moon?
that.
Right? I'm like, okay, we're not in the pre-shadow. Certain times, because we live out here, we know we should be able to see the moon at certain times of the year, right? Or certain times of the month through a cycle. I'm like, I don't fucking see the moon. All of a sudden, bro, this bright light flashes. I'm like, that's not the moon. And it's like directly over the fucking mountain. I'm like, that's weird. And it's like far away, but it starts to get closer and closer and closer. Like the orbit's getting bigger.
Yeah, but it looked far still. It was weird.
Yeah, like it looked like it was getting closer to you, but like
Still had that same amount of space.
Some type of stuff, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, this is weird. Well, then it turns red. I'm like,
Kind of like a force field, kind of where you can see it from like right here, but it's not close enough.
Yes.
It was not far enough either.
So it's coming down, bro, and I like say this microphone is a mountain. It's like hovering this close to the mountain.
Yeah.
It's like the size of the sun, bright red.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Oh my gosh.
oh, this is weird. And it starts pulsating orange, red, white, and then it goes in a circle.
Yep.
And you start seeing the color in the circle, like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
And then
Shit.
we're recording this shit for maybe 30 minutes.
Yeah. Yep.
30 minutes we're sitting here recording it. And then I was like, it's going to be gone in a second. We went in the house, came back while it was dark, look, and it was still right there in the same fucking spot. Now the moon is out where it's supposed to be. But
And this bright light.
And that bright light is still right there. Now it's a white light again, the moon, but it's brighter than the moon.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, nah, this is crazy.
So seeing something like that multiple times and living out here, what's your perspectives on aliens and extraterrestrial life?
You go first.
Well, we've watched a lot of stuff since we've been out here, and I kind of feel like we're chosen because I don't think everybody gets the opportunity to see that because there's been a lot of instances where people have been like, I've been right next to somebody and they didn't see what I saw.
Yeah.
And so I just feel like we're connected enough and they trust us enough to know that we're not going to be malicious toward them or be negative or say negative things, that they're allowing us to see them. Maybe not like inform in person, but like to see their crafts or their transitions or whatever it is we're seeing.
Well, and I'm looking around because we had a conversation last night actually about star people. So before I get into that one, so my opinion is the same thing like Ishel, like, and then mine comes from not just seeing them here, from other experiences. So growing up, I had some weird experiences to where it felt like something was talking to me. Right, so sometimes you feel spirit talking to you. You can tell that one, but it felt different. I remember playing basketball in my apartment complex with my friends, and some said, "Get your ass in the house right now." I'm looking around like, who the hell? I don't know this voice. I don't know none of this stuff. I don't recognize it. It don't feel good either.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, y'all, look. Y'all feel cool? Everything? Yeah, we cool. We playing basketball. All of a sudden, get the fucking house now is what I hear. I'm like, y'all don't hear nothing? Like, y'all don't feel like nothing going on? Ah, man, you over here being weird. Here you go again. Like, that was always my friend. Here you go again. I was like, all right, y'all, I'm about to dip out. I'm about to go in the house. Well, my apartment, I overlooked where the basketball course was at. where we used to play. Well, it was in the basketball courts. It was like, so kind of how like this is built at the top of the stage. It had more pieces of wood, but it was just wide enough to where a basketball could fit through. And we had to set, okay, well, if you shoot it 3 boards down and it goes in and it's cool, right? It was like that. So we wasn't playing like on an actual basketball court, right? So they're sitting there right in front of the laundromat and it starts pouring down rain. Before I even get in the house, I'm like, all right, so I'm running in the house. I'm about to stay out here. Fucking lightning strikes right where we was playing. It to where it left a burnt mark. It cracked the cement and everything. Yeah, like it was like weird.
So like, what do you guys actually think aliens are though? Like I know, like you guys spoke more about the feeling and the spiritual part of it.
I would say
what do you
that
think
they
they
are
are?
ancestors, man. So we know that energy doesn't dissipate. It doesn't disappear. It doesn't cease to exist. So at some point, we have to understand that there has been, and there is other life outside of us.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So there's stuff right now that I seen some shit the other day from Terrence Howard. He proved some stuff. I was like, wait a minute. He proved it with math. I'm like, you can't fake no numbers. Hold on 1 second. And he proved it. I'm like, wow. So the way we do numbers is wrong. And every time that we have some kind of technological advance in our society, it's after some type of alien sighting. Area 51, we started different things with vehicles.
Right.
Airplanes started around that time. You get what I'm saying? So there was other things that was going on, and then when we go and we look at history books, I'm a big history person. There was already, if you look at the petroglyphs in New Mexico and Egypt, actually, there's pictures inscribed into the stone of laptops, of lights, of everything else, and these civilizations were made out of gold. So they were able to thin out gold enough to use them for power. Yeah, and this was proven, bro. Like, it tripped me out. So he also, Terrence Howard also said that Earth is getting ready to live its last life cycle, which is 500 million years. That's how long Earth has left before it's too far away from the sun.
Oh yeah,
right.
Yeah.
So just like Mars, we figured out had water on it. We figured out Uranus had water on it. We figured out Pluto had water on it. All these planets that are drifting away from the sun had life on them.
Right.
Now, life doesn't just, again, dissipate. We're not stupid people, right? We figure out, okay, this is how we're going to adapt. Like, even now, with wars and all that stuff coming, what are people doing? They're building bunkers, right?
Right.
Okay, well, on the moon, they found bunkers on the moon. They found bunkers on Mars. So if we're doing the same thing that people have already done, and we're getting other things that was here before us and using them like we're new, there has to be those type of people who left those planets and figured it out to be.
Yeah, and that's what I was gonna say. As far as like what I think about aliens, I think it's people from other beings from other solar systems, other universes,
dimensions.
Like, yeah, because I definitely believe in all of that.
I definitely believe in your theory too, though, as far as like it being ancestors, because you know, especially when like people pass and it's like recent and it's right there, you be thinking like, you know, wow, this person is gone, and then you had those like subtle like little like feelings, where you like whoever this is, they right here, like they just kind of got like that aura of you, like they transitioning from this dimension to a different dimension. And they can still, you can't see them, you can hear it and feel it.
Oh yeah.
The energy, but you can't really.
Man.
Okay, so I'm about to ask you something.
What's up?
Since you from the East Coast-ish, I'll say it that way, right?
Midwest.
Okay,
I love
Detroit's still the Midwest?
Yep, Michigan,
okay.
Midwest.
Forgive me for that one. So, have you ever heard of Teresa? What's her last name?
Oh shoot, you're talking about the medium on TV.
It's called the Long Island Medium. You ever heard of her?
I've heard of mediums before. I met somebody that told me they was a medium.
Do you believe in it?
The logical part of me, yes. The illogical part of it, no.
I like that answer.
Because you never know. Like, I do believe in mediums, but I don't know who is the medium. Like, some people might just say it just to give you a tarot card reading or something, take your money. But some people really do it and can be that person for you. Well, so I believe in it, but it's evolving.
Yeah. And I say it to hopefully that you watch that show. It's on Hulu, Netflix, all kind of shit, right? Well, she had this gift since she was 5. and to a point where she has to tell spirit to leave her the fuck alone so she can live her life for a second.
Because when she walks around, all she sees and hears is spirits yelling at her, trying to get
their message across. Because can't nobody see them.
Yeah. Right.
Because they're all around their loved ones. And so I was skeptical at first because, again, Miss Cleo, right? You from that age, right?
Yeah, but she was a little different though.
Yeah.
Like her approach is different. Like I feel like that's a hot take. I don't know. I don't necessarily think it was all a scam.
No.
But I do believe that it was some misconduct, and the misconduct was enough to make people skeptical.
Yeah, and that's where I'm at because I used to watch her, bro. I used to be up late at night like, oh shit, Miss Cleo coming up. Yeah, I got in trouble for calling her ass. I ain't gonna lie. You know what I'm saying? You're free tarot card reading. Yeah. So again, a lot of that stuff is for real because we do tarot card readings. You understand what I'm saying?
And even
but we're
like
not mediums.
Well, and I wouldn't call myself a medium, but I smell spirits. So I've had conversations with his family members that have passed simply through smells that could not possibly have been out here.
Right.
And asking questions like, hit the smell hitting me again. I mean, we were out here the first year and I smelled a black hair salon. I'm like, there is no fucking way. There is a black hair salon anywhere in a radius that would even
smelling
come.
flat irons and shit like
Right.
that. Yeah.
All the hair products and everything.
That's
And I was
exactly what
like,
she described. She was like, it smells like burning hair, like somebody getting a haircut. I was like, wow. And then come to find out one of my aunties had passed. I was like, wow. Yeah, she used to get her hair done a lot.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, interesting.
That make you think, man. That make you think.
yeah, it was weird the first time it happened. We were in Colorado and I smelled a lot of like really strong cologne. And I asked him, I'm like, did you put cologne on or something? He's like, no. I was like, do you have a new deodorant? Or he was like, no. So I started telling him what was happening because it was like hitting me in the face.
Right.
And he was like, he started saying names. He was like, is it this cologne? I'm like, I don't freaking know. I don't know any of those names like that to put them to the smells. Like, try a different question. And so he started asking if it was, is it so-and-so? Is it so-and-so? Is it my Uncle Tommy? And I was like, that's it. It hit me again. And he was like, Uncle Tommy, is that you? He started talking to him and I felt like that on my leg.
Shit.
Yeah.
That's deep.
It was freaky at first.
Bro, like, when I say I got creeped out, but in the best way possible. Like, my Uncle Tommy, rest in peace, Uncle. My favorite uncle, man. Not even by blood, my uncle. Not even by blood, but he treated me like I was his son. And chastised my dad when he didn't do enough. You understand what I'm saying? So,
man of accountability,
yeah, like that was the one who always had my fucking back. You get what I'm saying? So, in my situation, I'm a middle child with a different dad. So my two sisters from my mom have the same dad. I have a different dad, and then my other sorry Melissa, the one I just lost. So a couple brothers, my sister. I'm the middle one.
Yeah.
So I was pretty much displaced in my family.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So with my uncle being there,
he felt that void.
Yeah, he made sure that nobody fucking picked on me. He made sure, bro, that I was there. I got everything. I got more than everybody else whenever I was fucking there. It was like the best fucking time ever.
Yeah.
So to have that experience, I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
Why not fucking come to me? Yeah. That was my thing. Like, nigga, come to me. Shit. Yeah. You know.
But at the same time, though, you know, it's a full circle moment. I mean, like, you guys are bonded spiritually. So whatever she might feel first, you're gonna eventually feel too.
Mm-hmm. No, and facts, like even now, like so when her grandpa passed recently,
a couple
honestly,
weeks ago.
I felt it coming. I was like, hey babe, you know, I'm not sure how much longer he got, you know, because I used to be in the medical field and there were certain things that they were telling me, and I was like, I mean, it's days, babe. We got days, you know. And I was telling her that I'm like, just, you know, it's okay, be prepared. We about right there. And one day Easy just woke up screaming like bloody murder, bro. And I'm sitting like, that's an unusual scream. Well, if she don't hear it, I fucking wake up. I'm like, what's going on? What's going on? He's like looking behind me. I'm like, is that Papa Mondo? I was like, oh. Well, tell Papa Mondo I said, what's up? You don't have to be scared of him. Like, he's only here to say hi so he can finally meet you because he didn't get a chance to meet you. And he like slowly started calming down after we started talking about Papa Mondo. But
And prior to that, I had, because I knew it was coming too, I had kind of just asked my ancestors to be there with him while he transitioned to bring him to meet the baby when he transitioned.
So like, her dad ended up getting like the autopsy report and find out what time he died. Literally, it was about within a couple minutes of when Easy woke up crying.
Yeah.
So it's like when stuff like that happens to you, it's kind of hard to not see it and go. Like, my logical mind is like, wait a minute, that shit don't.
My logical mind believes it. It's my illogical mind that makes me think that it's not true.
My logical mind makes me try to break it down.
Right.
I can't see that working. Illogically, or my subconscious, I'll say. My subconscious.
Your
like,
logical mind is what's telling you what your heart gonna tell you. Your illogical mind is telling you, like, it's gonna try to double down on that. Like, nah.
Okay.
You ain't see it. Like, it is not like that.
Okay.
Like,
I
nah.
can
Like your logical mind is kind of like your arrogance and your voice of reason, where your logical mind is like, you in the right ballpark. You might not be all the way right.
Okay.
But you in the right ballpark.
I feel you. I appreciate that explanation.
Yeah.
Yeah, nah, because I mean,
definitely see that.
I really do try to break down everything and stay like, nah. Like, even the other night when I was talking to the dude about the aliens, he pointed out 9 ships, bro.
Oh yeah.
With the orange and red lights.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, bro, like, they trying to look like planes. And he was like, that white light is not a plane light. It's too bright to be a plane light. That bright light's supposed to be blue. I started laughing. I was like, you know better.
We've even seen it bright during the day. Like, there was
bro.
one time we were driving down the 117 and I caught something like really bright, and I was like, something told me, don't take your eyes off of it, because the minute you do, it's gonna disappear. So I'm driving, so I'm like looking at it. I'm like, Assad, you gotta look up right there. And so I'm trying to describe it while I'm watching the road. The minute I took my eyes off of it, it disappeared from the air. And on our videos that we have, it's brighter than the sun.
Shit.
What about the one that we seen? Okay, look, we were heading up to the main road, bro.
So many.
Yeah, it was crazy. It tripped me the fuck out. So, you know how we have planes that do chemtrails, all that's just been proven and all that stuff.
Right.
So I'm thinking it's a plane with chemtrails. It was so fucking bright. It looked like a little silver bullet. I'm like, in the sky? Yeah. Wait, that can't be no plane.
Yeah.
And I was like, babe, look at that shit right there. And we like stopped right at the road before we make the left to go to the main road. And we stopped. I was like, babe, get your camera out. She got her camera out, and as soon as she got the camera out, it split into 2.
Yes.
And then they went different directions.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah. It goes down out here for sure.
I mean, my furtherance of believing in that type of stuff was for years the government wouldn't acknowledge it at all, and then just more recent it was like,
Yeah,
Fine.
it's true. And it's
You
like,
guys already know.
it just made my little stoner mind get more curious. Like, all right, have I
Right.
seen one before? You know, like, where do you need to be to see it? Is it
Yeah.
something evil? Is it something negative or
I feel
positive?
that.
Like, it made me think.
Bro, this whole thing just made me think about when I was younger. Me and a homeboy, Black Mike. So his name is Black Mike because, one, he was black. We had White Mike, and then we had Milk.
Yes.
Milk, that's my nigga today. Like that's like when we was talking about earlier friends from like preschool and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Me and him grew up together, was raised together, everything. Like, that's my nigga still. But Black Mike, after everybody left out the apartment complex, I was like by myself. He was like one of the new ones that came in. He was younger than me, so I kind of took him underneath my wings. Like, hey, look, in here we can't do this over here. You know, I get where you're coming from on the east side, but over here
You can't do that.
this is
Yeah.
not what you're doing. Well, we ended up being like, you know, in the streets and kind of stuff, doing our own thing. Well, me and him had some money. He was like, you know what? Let's get some pizzas, bro. Let's order some Domino's. All right, let's order some Domino's. We ordered like 2 large pizzas, bro. As soon as Domino's come, I like open the door. Hey, I got the pizza right here. Here's the money. He's like, are you sure? I'm like, bro, my address is right here at the fucking house. I called you. It's here. Give me the fucking pizzas. So he takes the pizzas. Within 5 minutes, bro, I see a blimp because I'm on USC.
Yeah.
USC always flies blimps for the USC game. I'm like, okay, no big deal. It's a blimp. I look up. I'm like, no, that's not a fucking blimp. Bro, it's the shape of a fucking blimp, but the lights are going in like an oval.
Circular motion.
Just like they show, I'm like,
I know.
like a little fucking, like you can see each individual light, not like a little fucking, like a little ring, bro. It was like each individual light you can just see moving slowly. I'm like, oh, this is fucking crazy. I'm like looking at it, And it's like in the distance, and I'm like, hey, Mike, hey, bro, this shit is getting closer. He's like, stop looking at it. Stop looking at it. You bring it over here. Oh my God. Right? And he's like freaking out. He's like, bro, I seen it. Stop fucking looking at it. You keep bringing it over here. And we're like, bro, I didn't smoke. I didn't drink at the time. None of that stuff. So we just out there late at night, bro, like 1 a.m. eating pieces and shit. Oh shit. Nope. I'm not looking. We sitting in my mom's car. Hey, I'm in the house. Left the pieces in the car, bro.
Right.
I was like, what the fuck is these pizza boxes doing in the car? Oh, we ate pizza last night. Who gave y'all money to order pizza? Well, I don't know. We just ordered
Somebody.
pizza. We got money, so. But yeah, like that's like one of the earliest UFO sightings I remember seeing, like being scared as fuck, bro. Like, was I maybe like 13, 14?
Yeah.
Like, oh shit, it's coming. Yeah, it's coming at us. It's coming at us. Like,
What about you?
I think it wasn't until out here when I told you about smelling stuff. Actually, I'm lying. I was actually 3. I met my guardian angel, Archangel Gabriel. I was at my grandma's house. I got up to go to the bathroom. I remember walking down this long hallway we had, and I seen something floating like this high off the ground next to me with like a person body, but kind of just like, not a dress, but like a robe behind them.
Like a mermaid.
Kind of, yeah. And in my head, I was like, I'm going to go put my shoes on. I'm going to go back to where I came from, put my shoes on, I'm going to step on his tail. So I went and put my shoes on. I remember walking down, and I remember stomping, and my foot just went right through it like nothing happened. And I was like, who are you? And it told me, I'm Gabriel. Well, I have an uncle named Gabriel. And so I was like, you're not Gabriel, that's Gabriel. And I pointed to my uncle who was sleeping, and he kind of like chuckled and was like, no, I'm the Archangel Gabriel, I'm your guardian angel. And it always stuck with me, and I remember telling like my family about it, and they'd be like, you were just dreaming. But
Right.
it's too vivid.
It's too vivid,
It's
yeah.
been always too vivid, so I know it was my guardian angel for sure.
Damn.
Yeah.
what about you? What was your first experience?
What, as far as like feeling something spiritual?
Let's go spiritual and then UFOs.
Extraterrestrial.
Spiritually, I mean, spiritually, my grandmother's mother passed away when I was 2. Now, normally when you're 2, you're not supposed to remember a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But I remember my grandmother's mother passing. We go to the funeral. My grandma is from Mississippi. She lived in the Delta. And I remember, like, my great grandmother was so revered in that small city. It was kind of like crazy. Like, people, like, normally when there's funerals in like bigger cities, people just kind of pull to the side and do whatever. But people was like blocking traffic, like to the point to where people like, instead of just pulling over, they was getting out of their cars. And they were just like lining up, and we was just going past. And for some reason, I just remember that. Like, that's my first, like, it's like just seeing like a funeral, like, you know what I'm saying? That's something spiritual to where I'm like this is something different. Like, like people like literally are just like making a way. They just getting out of their cars, and I couldn't grasp it at the time, but I just remember. I can, if I sit back right here and think about it, I can tell you like which streets, like how it looked visually. I can't say like who was there, who wasn't there, but
because I mean you don't know them like that, but
right.
nah,
So
that is crazy because it reminded me of my dad when he passed when I was 7 at the funeral. I remember like the same thing. Like my dad was known like he was in the natural market. However, he was a good dude. Like whenever he had money, he used to buy everybody everything. Like he'd buy the block. Okay, I got a jet ski. Everybody with me got jet skis. Fuck it. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I got a Beamer. Everybody got Beamers, and that was kind of how he was. Like, you get a Beamer, you get a Beamer, you get a Beamer. Like, and I only know that because after we even left California, we was in Colorado working on our healing products, and this dude who was in the homeless park came through. Hey, I know you. First of all, bro, I told you I only have so many levels. Whatever. I don't know you. I'm new in Colorado for one. I know you don't know me. Hey, you. Hey.
Yeah.
What? You Mooney, ain't you? The fuck? How you know me? Oh, I know your dad. And we, bro, like a whole hour worth of just telling him stories about my dad and how good of a person he was. And I remember the funeral, and I didn't think nothing about it because you a kid, you think that was like one of my third funerals. I had a lot of funerals when I was a kid. so I don't even go to them no more. But
Right.
I remember like I remember we was in LA. It was on Fig. It was a big ass church on Fig, and there was 5 lowrider clubs that had all of Fig blocked off. There was fucking tow truck companies, because my dad used to run his stuff through a tow truck company.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was tow truck companies that had the shit blocked off, and literally me, my brothers, and my little sister Melissa was the only ones that was like allowed at one point to go see my dad in his casket, and everybody had to wait for us, and then like everybody just like sat there and like came talk to us after. Oh, your dad. I just remember everybody's shaking my hand. Your dad, I'm gonna miss him, and X, Y, and Z.
And then we're pouring jewelry into the casket
like
and all kinds of.
To where I was doing so bad one time, bro. I remember how much jewelry and shit got put in my dad, like stacks, like bro, like back in the. My dad died when I was 7. I'm 33, 34, something like that, right? So over 20 plus years ago, bro, a $10,000 stack got thrown in my dad's fucking casket. You understand what I'm saying? Like in multiples of them, fucking gold ropes. You know what I'm saying? Like the shit that niggas is buying right now, like Busta Rhymes had on the Source Awards, bro.
Yeah.
My dad had that thrown in his fucking coffin. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, why we just sitting here letting that shit just waste, man? My family's struggling. You know what I'm saying? We over here struggling. And then you start to think about it, it's like, well, if you take something from the dead, you stealing from them. You understand what I'm saying? Like, why would I steal from my dad who actually did everything for us?
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? That's the memories that people had of him. What was that? What if that was like the jury or some shit that he gave them and they was like, man, thank you, or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, how disrespectful for me to think that.
Offering. Yeah.
There you go.
I get it, yeah. Well, I'm glad you didn't think about it selfishly like that, because people fight over money. You know what I'm saying? Once people are gone, like, this person, he didn't really like you like that. He really loved us.
Right.
You find out more about people sometimes when they're gone, when they're not here. Respectfully. But back to the event though, like what was the difference between that second time around and the first event?
The second and the first? Shit, what we had learned, honestly, bro, like from the first event, we had overpacked everything, and then when performers,
like the schedule, you mean?
Yeah, like the schedule was like dummy packed, and then like the second one, she was like, "Look, you did too much. You need to expect some kind of errors. Maybe if you put like a 20-minute gap or a 10-minute gap in between each performance, and you can fill something in, and we do raffles and stuff like that." And that's kind of when the raffles started coming out real big. So the first year we didn't do no raffles. No real giveaways like that.
We did some, but not as many.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like nothing real like that. But then, like year 2, we kind of fucking went out on all the giveaways. We went like all the Puff Code stuff, like the Proxies, the Hot Knives, bro. Fucking the Budsies that we had this year.
Yeah,
we had a couple of those. The Cupsies. We had fucking glasswares. We had.
But every year kind of feels the same in the sense of like we're still learning. You know what I mean? Like so every year we know that we have to hear from everybody. We have to hear what didn't work, and the following year we implement what didn't work, and we change stuff up. And I mean, just us having like the snack bar that we had in VIP this year was a huge difference.
Even having a VIP within itself, to accommodate those people who went above and beyond. And, who paid for the ticket.
Exactly. Yeah. Or even just helped us promote like y'all did. You know what I mean?
Right. Or shit, even this year we had our volunteers that came out. You know, Oscar and Laura, they came out, and I told them during the festival, like, if it wasn't for them, this shit wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, we needed a lot of help. Yeah. Definitely.
So how big is let's just talk about the business side of it. Like what goes into like the planning and the different things, like things that you may want to see, things she want to see, and how do you guys decide, like, all right, to that common ground?
we decide, and then we wait 6 months, and we redebate it again, and we decide again. I swear it happens.
Yeah.
Well, we start planning a year ahead. Yeah. So, like, after this, we'll start planning the next one. Right. Start putting people on and updating the website and stuff. But, I mean, he really handles all, like, the music. So, after the festivals are over, he usually starts reaching out to artists. Right. Reaching out to vendors and sponsors, and try to get everything going for the next year. Right. I'm on the backside, like, what didn't work with the vendor application? How can we improve the sponsor information that we share? Or improve the process of how communication gets, transferred. That's part of the reason why we did the marketing trainings this year.
Right.
That was something that we hadn't offered in the past 2 years, and the reason for that was because we were meeting guests that were coming like, hey, I got like over $2,000 in my pocket, I'm ready to spend money. And then we're sitting here talking to the vendors, and they're like, oh, we didn't make no sales. And we're like, what? Well, how did you not make no sales?
And to add on to what you're saying, we did the sales and marketing trainings this year. We had 5 people here who said, I'm here to spend at least $1,500. And we had people who not even make $100 out here today or through the festival. So
our thing was like, you don't know how to close, or you don't know how to market your product, or there's something that you don't have that we may have that we can share to help you make money, because we want you to make money.
Right.
You know what I mean? So our marketing trainings, a lot of people didn't come, but it gave us a good infrastructure, outlines to use for next year, right, so that we can keep doing that and people can see, because we kind of talked to a lot of people like, hey, you didn't come to the marketing trainings, like we could have, helped you out with some tips, or, showed you how to do some different advertisements and things like that.
Yeah.
And it encourages people to come back the year after, because they're like, oh, you guys are actually looking out for my business. Because a lot of times when people see us from the outside, or if it's companies that are like kind of hating on us, they're like, oh, y'all are just trying to make as much money as possible. And it's like, y'all, from year one, we have spent more money on these festivals than we have made on any of them. Right. So this is a labor of love. It's not because we're coming up every year, we're not making huge profits off of this stuff. It really does come from the heart. So like, we want to share that with people, and we want other people to be successful out here. So we just try to listen, you know what I mean? A lot of the upgrades we made this year, like with the lights, was because women came to us and told us they didn't feel safe going to the bathroom.
Right. Or
I don't want to have to walk from VIP to the general camping area just to use the bathroom at 2 o'clock in the morning. Or so like, just, changing it, upgrading it, not getting stuck. And that's kind of our generational healing, is like, our parents are kind of like, oh, we're here and we're not moving.
Right.
And with us, we're like, we got to be flexible, we got to be fluid, things change, and that's part of our generational healing that we're doing.
How big is marketing in an event like this, or in business in general?
It's beyond number one.
So
bro.
important.
Like beyond number one. And it's not just when people look at marketing, they go, okay, so the person put on the event is responsible for marketing.
Yeah.
And that's like the most frustrating thing, is that it's everybody's job to market your product, to market that you're going to be somewhere, to market that, hey, if you want to buy something, here I am. You get what I'm saying? This is where you want to be at.
Right.
Or if it's just a performer, hey, you want to see me perform? You never heard my music? Come see me perform. You get what I'm saying? Like, we had a performer named Consequence come out from Denver this year.
Yeah, she was dope.
She promoted her ass off. Yeah.
She had the shirts, she had the QR codes, everything. Yeah.
She promoted her ass off. You get what I'm saying? So there's stuff like that you see and you go, okay, I respect that. I actually even appreciate what you're doing. And then there's other people you go, dang, did you make a post? Oh, you did? Where? Your story? Okay. How many people read your story every day? Like, pull up your story right now and see how many people read your story.
And we only got to there because we realized, like, people didn't know what we were doing out here because we're not telling anybody. That's part of what marketing and advertising is telling people what it is that you're doing and encouraging them to buy or come, spend time with you or whatever. If you don't tell people, they don't know.
Yeah, they can't relate that brand affiliation where they be like,
Exactly.
we're going to expect nature, cannabis, celebration of indigenous arts and people performing. And like, once people know once you market, they have that brand association. Even if they mischaracterize it, like, hey, we in the middle of nowhere, but we're going to have fun, that buyer's integrity still, carry on going forward.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's why I say, like, people go, oh, scale of 1 to 10. I'm like, nah, that's beyond number one. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, I mean, besides having the funds, bro.
Yeah.
It's more important to market than it is to have funds.
Yeah, I mean, because the marketing is going to make the money.
Yeah.
And even if it doesn't make money per se, the outreach and amount of people that know that will come will bring the money and opportunity. Like, hey, you might have let me perform for free, but I brought 20 people and they bought 20 tickets at however much a pop. So it makes up for,
And that's what we try to get through to people. Like, we had a couple performers who came this year, for this event right now, who's going to be performing at the Forest Fiesta.
Okay.
And they came like, you know what? I just want to show support and see what like the setup is like and everything else, and just see how everything is. I was like, you know what? I fucks with that. And then he like seen like, you know, he had to pay to play, and he was like, okay, I just want to know like, does everybody pay to play? And I was like, well, everybody does the first time. With us, because the first event, we paid everybody out the pocket. Yeah. We were over 20 grand just in performances, bro.
Yeah.
Shit.
And we're like, oh, we can't do that again. Like, we broke, like even with the amount of people we had, like we had close to 350 people here, like attendees, not vendors and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Attendees, ticket buyers.
We barely made even on that fucking event.
Yeah, because of how much we paid the performers, and then we found out that performers we paid are playing for free in Albuquerque at all these other different venues, but they charged us. So we're like, okay, wait, hold on.
That's a discrepancy within itself. Like, come on, bro. Like,
yeah. And then same thing, we paid performers that sat down on the stage, forgot their lyrics, got drunk, almost got in fights, and we're like, that's not what we want here. So we have to, like, unfortunately, but fortunately, the money helps us separate who's serious and who's not.
Yeah. I mean, cause shoot, even last year we had a performer pay to play. You
had the cut mic?
Yeah, I had to cut his mic. I was all at the back, bro, on the campground. I heard what he was saying. I ran from the campground all the way onto the stage. Everybody's looking like, I don't cut that shit off.
Yeah,
cut him off. He just no.
It was just really derogatory toward different types of people and
different
like,
cultures and shit. I was like, wow,
so unprofessional.
And I was like, bro, you didn't even know your lyrics, and your freestyles are garbage. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, it happens in podcasting too. Like, it's a lot of different podcasts within like the region, but more so in the city where, you know, some of these other podcasts, you gotta pay to get on there.
Yeah.
Not only do you gotta pay for them to even, like, if we did a podcast now on certain shows, you have to pay for them to put it out the next day.
Yep.
Just fuck being alone there. You gotta pay just for him to edit, record, and then if you don't pay that type of fee, he got a different bracket where he'd be like, I'll drop it eventually. But if you pay that ultimate price, you need to pay some money.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And I actually love that because I didn't know that about podcasts until recently.
Yeah, people. Yeah.
You know, she had a job recently. She was working for somebody who was real big in social media, or trying to be real big in social media, I'll say. And he, how do I get on podcasts? Well, she's been getting on podcasts, you know, left and right. And she's like, well, I can show you how to do it, but I don't think anybody wants to hear you talk.
Oh my gosh, yes. That's the other thing.
Yeah, that's another thing about like different podcasts and like different experiences. Like, some people really do put their heart into certain podcasts, but people don't realize podcasts has to be entertaining to the people you trying to, you know, reach. Like, I got people in my family that don't watch, but I'm not their target. They're not my target audience.
Exactly.
They are not pro cannabis, so you're already out of the market. Yes. And they may try to like delve into like some of the conversations we have or certain artists, but if you don't fit a certain audience, you should try to appeal to that. You know, because you got your hardcore audience, you got your casual listeners, and those casual listeners are buyers. In your case, are participators. So people be like, I don't know what's going on, but I'm gonna go up there and see what's going on. They might not come to every event, but they came to that one, and they can put a face with a name and be like, this is a cool spot.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's honestly what a lot of people are saying, that this year there's like, you know what? I thought about coming last year. Yeah. And then you guys stopped selling tickets online. I was like, yeah. Hit a limit, there's no more buying tickets until you at the door.
Right.
Oh, I could have bought tickets at the door. Yeah. Did you try? You know, and that's like the thing. They were like, well, we made sure that we came this year, and that was like the thing. It's like, well, we heard about it last year, but now this year we're like, okay, we're gonna make sure we're there, because a lot, like even last year, like I said, we gave away like 700 pre-rolls, you know, just in the first 2 days. Yeah. Maybe the first day and like maybe 50 on the next day. You get what I'm saying? Like that was all of them. I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was gonna smoke that much, and then had to put the bag of weed on the stage and like, all right, y'all, look, let me roll it around and let everybody just grab a handful real quick. Okay, now just performers only. Performers only. Yeah. Not on stage. Don't touch this bag. You know what I mean? And then like, you shall say, like, to see that people haven't even seen more than a pound of weed, or sorry, an ounce of weed. I'll say it that way. There's some people who've seen a pound, but there's some people who haven't even seen more than 2 pounds. You get what I'm saying?
I don't think too many people have seen like a real pound of weed. Maybe like an ounce, maybe a little bit more than an ounce.
You think so?
A pound? Nah, not too many people.
Not unless they're cultivators or growers.
Not cultivators or before dispensaries became a trend and you kind of wanted to like flip or bulk buy or that type of thing. Like all at once, like one bag, ain't nobody seen.
Before you started growing, I had never seen that much cannabis in one place.
And you see what I'm saying? Like, that's why when growing up with my parents, like, hey, I'm like this shit ain't like seeing this amount of weed ain't new to me, but it's new because it's mine. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, oh shit, okay. Like even when I grew my first pound, I was like, I remember seeing that shit in the house.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I remember seeing like the bag all zipped up, and I'm like, the fuck is this? All right, whatever. Yeah. Then when I had my own, oh, that's what that was.
Right.
All right.
Makes sense. Yeah. So as far as like the branding of the festival or the event, like going forward, like what direction, or is it multiple directions that you guys want to go to? So, or is this more of a cannabis festival where you pushing more for the outreach of cannabis? Is it more for the arts as far as like with music and the indigenous part of the event, or is it just a strong blend of both where you want more people to come for the cannabis, the music, or a little bit of both?
I think for me personally, it would be like kind of all of it, because it's all kind of encompassing. A lot of artists are cannabis users, but that's also why we even stopped using just the word cannabis, is because it really ain't just about cannabis. It's about plant medicine.
Right.
Like there's a lot of medicine on the property right now, like sage. There's like 7 different types of sage that are super healing. And without us opening up these spaces and creating spaces to educate people about that, then we remain uneducated. You know what I mean? So, you know, mushrooms, cannabis, sage, there's all kinds of stuff here that can help heal. So I like saying plant medicine because it's more all-encompassing. Plus, I'm an herbalist, so I'm like, all plants.
So you look at it from a different perspective.
Yes. Yeah. But I don't know about you, because you're a little different.
I mean, my thing is, I think it is a little bit of both. It's kind of hard to like put a finger on one of them, because like for me, I love the arts. Like I told everybody at the festival, like I've been in music since I could, you know, do anything. You get what I'm saying? Like I used to break dance, bro. Like they used to call me Disco Danny. So like, remember when Soul Train was on, bro? I used to be on Soul Train. Just they clear out the whole living room, bro, just so I can dance. And the whole family would just watch me dance, break dance, hand spin. Like I was a breaker. You know what I'm saying? I was a breaker. Then I was a regular dancer. Then I was a crumper.
Okay.
We got the infused. We got the infused cotton candy. I had one earlier. That shit was fire.
It's 1111 medications. Albuquerque, New Mexico, 505.
For sure.
All right, so we back again. So basically, you guys are only picking performers and vendors that make sense to the brand that you guys are creating. And, you know, there are some like tactics that you guys use to try to broaden the certain spaces, but you see that it's a lot of bullshit when it comes to organizing and having people want to commit to the event, and basically kind of weeding that out and finding people who are going to be consistent, who are going to make every event, or if they don't make every event, they make an impact to where it still blesses the business well going forward. And
exactly. That's I mean, honestly, bro, that's the mission, not just with the festival, but with everything that we do in general. Because one thing that we had to learn is that if you're involving people who don't have your benefit in mind, you're failing already. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You're already investing into something that doesn't want to invest in you. You get what I'm saying? So like, I had to tell one of the performers that, you know, we require all first-time performers to pay, but it's only a $75 fee. Like,
which isn't bad.
We've seen people pay $450 for a 15-minute session. You get what I'm saying? Like, you pay $450 for 15 minutes, but he asked them, you know, what made you guys, you know, want to, what made you guys want to have us pay first? And I was like, well, we paid every performer the first time. We didn't get the promotions. We didn't get the support back that we gave y'all. So this is y'all saying, hey, we want to be involved. I'm serious. And I'm going to show you I'm serious first. And then we'll reinvest back into you.
I mean, that makes perfect sense, because anytime, like, let's say if I'm a performer, I paid to perform, but I bring 400 people, you guys are not going to, like, take that lightly. Be like, okay, hey, you had to pay to perform. Let's try to, you know, make the business fair, because if you bring 400 people and you paid, something's going to happen to where you, like, it's gonna be beneficial.
And even for situations like that, we have it built into where we don't advertise it this way, but when people apply and we communicate with them for their application, we let them know that if you've paid, then you have the option to get a discount code.
Right.
With that discount code, we'll track your commissions.
Right.
And we're willing to pay 30% commissions. And what we've heard from a lot of people in the industry is that
that's not a lot of that.
Yeah, places that do that, festivals that do that. So that's kind of our thing, is like, if you help us promote now, you can get paid. You can get your $75 back real freaking easy.
Right.
If you promote and sell tickets.
Put the lead work in.
Yeah, I had to tell a performer who was leaving today, I was like, you know what? Every time y'all show up, y'all are always on fire. The crowd always fucking loves y'all. The crowd never wants y'all off stage. But y'all don't fucking promote. I was like, that's the problem. You know, I would love to pay you what you're worth. I was like, however, if you don't promote, it doesn't really bring value, because at the last minute, people need to come out this way. Again, sometimes we're, an hour from the closest city sometimes. You get what I'm saying? So people got to plan for that. You get what I'm saying? Like, dang, I can't sit here on the weekend like, I'm going to have to go there tomorrow. You get what I'm saying? They can't say that for our type of venue. So that's why when Michelle's saying that, we already have the date set for next year. When this one is wrapped up, when everything is all turned down, I'm already starting to hit up people. I already have a couple people in mind that I want to reach out to because of the following that they already had. And then what I also do is I look at the people who we have come perform. I look at who's following them.
Right.
And if they're following that person back.
Right.
So usually if they're following each other, they're on that same vibe if they're both professional.
Right.
Right. So if I see a DJ or a performer who has 10 shows and I like somebody's music that they're on track with and I follow them and they only done one show a month, no, there's no way I'm fucking getting you on this show. I won't hit you up. I don't even think when you apply, I'm going to accept it. You understand what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of times that we don't even accept applications because, one, I'm a musician myself. You understand?
Yeah.
Like, I've had to learn how to do the sound production and everything else. So there's no way I'm going to put myself on the line, my name on the line, to have you come up here and, one, sound like shit.
Yeah.
Not have any actual content in your lyrics. And that's the other thing, is that the style of music nowadays has changed so drastically.
Yeah.
It's like far and few people that you really like, yeah, I'm going to come and see them, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
It's not like that no more. Like, we used to go, oh, Nas, Jay-Z.
Must see people.
Yeah.
You would pay money to see them.
Right.
I paid $400 just for a 10-minute set for a Tupac setters. You get what I'm
But
saying? Like,
it also goes back to what I was saying earlier about that brand recognition, where they know no matter what, if I pay my money or if I'm participating in this event, I'm gonna get what I'm looking for.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The price point, the experience, the people who are here. Like, do I know somebody that's already here, or do I know somebody that's already talking about it? And
Exactly.
word of mouth, and
And like you kind of asked us earlier, like what like things do we do different and stuff like that, is we've had headliners booked from our first event that was family, signed to Snoop's label, XYZ, but doesn't help when you get on the stage at Mujeres Valley, which Mujeres is translates into women, and you're saying derogatory stuff about women, and you have women in the, you know what I mean? Like, it just didn't vibe. So that was one of the biggest things that we learned in the beginning, was like, what kind of music are they playing? And if it has derogatory stuff in it, then we really can't welcome them.
you don't align with the brand.
Yeah.
For sure.
I mean, because this is a family-friendly event, you know, like, there was kids running around.
Yeah.
I mean, even like my DJ set, sometimes I had to go through and make sure I'm playing the clean versions of certain things, just like Black was doing. You get what I'm saying? Like, you got to pay attention to what the crowd is. And like Michelle said, like, we have a lot of people from different types of communities that come out here. And if you start to disrespect one community and they don't feel protected, then that whole community is going to go out, hey, look, we went there and this is what happened. Don't go with them. You get what I'm saying? So we have to make every person feel welcome that comes out. And
it's a big job.
Yeah. So, how do you guys feel about the New Mexico cannabis scene? Like, because it's different from it's similar but kind of different from Michigan, just based off of the research that I did. But from you guys' perspective, you guys have been recreational and legal for a few years. How do you see the New Mexico cannabis space, and we'll just go from there.
I feel like it's honestly really similar. So we saw legalization in California, Colorado, and now here. And it feels really similar in the sense of like in the Black and brown communities, we're struggling for that recognition. And sometimes the only collaboration we can get is with non-BIPOC companies. And that to me is discouraging. But I kind of felt like the third state that went legal, I don't want to like miss out on the cannabis industry again. And I think we just need to make more spaces to communicate with each other about differences so that we can be more unified in the cannabis industry in general.
I think that's the biggest thing is that the unification needs to happen. Like we have things like people in Santa Fe don't go to Las Cruces to get no weed, or Albuquerque only fucks with Albuquerque, or nobody really fucks with this side of the state. You know, like even like the city that we're closest to is Grants. The mayor of that city has a dispensary. For some reason, all other dispensaries have not been allowed to come out there. Like, so there's been like some big box names that was trying to come out. Yeah, they're not here.
He's blocking them from coming to this area.
He actually just pushed somebody out. One of our sponsors this year for the event just got pushed out of his dispensary, and now he's just a restocking facility. So there needs to be a unification where you have to understand that it's not a competition to. Yes, it's a competition to get money. Yeah. But if we're talking about a plant that's here to heal people, it's not a competition about money. It's a competition on who's putting the best energy into that product. Right. And that's kind of like where we stand. Is that when we have our production license approved, hopefully here in the next couple of months or so, people will understand that when we put our energy into it. Like I gave somebody for their birthday, I gave them a jar of weed, and they smelled it, was like, what the fuck is this? Like, I've never seen this. I'm like, yeah, you did. You just smoked some earlier, but I got you. I got you. But it didn't smell the same, it didn't taste the same, but it was from somebody different. You get what I'm saying? It wasn't mine. And oh my God, thank you so much. So I've always gotten that when it comes to growing flower in New Mexico. It's just hard because there's so much competition because it's supposed to be a brown state, but it's white run. Right. You know what I'm saying? So like when you talk about going to the industries, bro, like they'll put two brown businesses in front of everybody, but behind the scenes it's nothing but white people. Right. You know, white businesses, white faces, and it's like, well, it's not that I have anything against white faces. It's just like
you don't represent what I align with.
Yeah, at all. It's like, and I know your product ain't the best. Right. You get what I'm saying?
Kind of
like
corporate weed. Yeah. Just good enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, our scenes are kind of eerily the same because we have the same discrepancies where our weed market is kind of looking more corporate. Like if you're a casual smoker, you just go to the dispensary. It's like, oh, it's dispensary, it's accessible. But when you look at it from like what it is, they kind of push out a lot of caregivers and kind of push you more towards dispensaries. But then the caregivers are getting smart and was starting their own dispensaries. And then once they figure out they have a dispensary, they blackball those dispensaries with those caregiver, what you guys call legacy.
Yeah.
You know, grows.
See, and we used to have caregivers out here up until last year. They took that away from us.
They didn't even just take that away from us. Now medical patients can't grow their own plants.
Wow.
It's just recreational.
So for the record, what type of licenses would somebody need to get in New Mexico?
I would recommend that anybody in New Mexico gets a medical license. So that way, if you are getting fucked with by anything, then you have some kind of protection.
Kind of like a micro business kind of sorts.
He's talking about the other licenses.
Those kind of licenses? Shit. I mean...
first of all, I would even go with anything because they're really inexpensive right now.
Yeah, and that's kind of why I'm like, it's hard to say because it just depends on what you want to do. Right. So like right now, I think the most expensive license right now to start is $7,500.
That's not bad.
Not at all.
Is that the vertical?
That's the vertical grow. That means you can grow, you can sell,
transport,
you can manufacture, all in one thing.
What's the limit as far as the plants?
There's no limit on plants. So what they do with that license is you pay per plant. I believe it's $12 per plant.
Okay. That's right.
Plus you have an excess tax on them at the end of harvest. So it just depends on what your money level is like, where you go. So like with us, we're going for a micro production license,
Okay.
or micro grow.
Right.
What that limits us to 100 plants.
Okay.
That license was to start off $500. You have to have your own water rights. You have to have certain things in line. Since we have our well, we just have to change over a couple things to make it a commercial well.
Okay.
And then we're all good to go. But if you don't have access to water, you're trying to get a production license, then, or a grow license, then you have to have permission from the city or stuff like that. So it just all depends on your situation. So it goes from $500 as the cheapest to $7,500.
And your area too, because every area of New Mexico has different issues with water.
Yeah.
So it gets really.
It gets tricky. So New Mexico is tricky when it comes to that, because there's certain areas, like with ours, when I called the state engineers about our well, he told me, like, get your license in now before they stop accepting them.
Yeah.
So meaning that they're going to stop giving out water rights, meaning that you won't ever really own the water, or you can't resell the water. So,
which is the reason why we left Colorado.
yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So in Colorado, you couldn't even drill a well no more in Colorado.
Yeah.
You had to wait for them to drill or to dig a city siphon to you, which you had to pay for as the homeowner.
Yeah.
Which sometimes was 30 miles of fucking.
Yeah.
Like directly, or do you pay it like
No.
certain time of year for like taxes?
Directly. Just, you have to pay for the project, and your project is there, and then anybody else after you did your project just goes from that line.
Right.
And it's like, well, I'm not paying for everybody's line to get up there.
Yeah, or even like in Colorado, they made it illegal for you to catch rainwater.
Oh yeah.
So you couldn't even, like, that's one of the things that they encourage here in New Mexico is build rainwater and catchment into your business plan, because it does a lot of different things for the land, and also it helps cut down on how much water you're using from whatever source you have. And it just didn't make sense to me why we would even buy land in Colorado if we could never own the water. Which, how do they own the water if they didn't help freaking make the sky? You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
It was just crazy to me.
All just type of regulations.
Yeah.
Kind of like,
Yeah.
you know, subdue and kind of keep you at a certain point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, what changes do you see like that needs to be changed within like the New Mexico cannabis scene?
Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, bro, I think people just need to learn how to team up. It shouldn't be all for one and one for all. You get what I'm saying? Or that's what it should be. I apologize. It should be all for one and one for all. It shouldn't be every man for themselves.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So like right now, New Mexico goes, oh well, I have my license. Well, if you get yours, then we might be able to collaborate. We might not. Yeah. It's not like, oh well, why don't we all have different grows? Like on the mountain right now, there's about 7 different grows.
Okay.
Instead of all of us going legal with a vertical grow, which I proposed, we had 3 go legal. No, 2 go legal on their own, and they're struggling right now. So one dude, he harvested. He had 2 harvests a year, and he just sold his first pound last week.
And now, okay, so
that was from last year.
That's the other thing too, is talking about the cannabis industry, is that people are doing shady shit with the testing, so that their weed tests higher, and then they get people like our homie, and they're like, oh, 20%, that's like nothing. You want that much money for it? I'm not giving it to you because it's not 30% or above.
They're trying to chase like an opiate high.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
Like let weed do its course.
Exactly.
You know, if you smoke some good weed that's 20% or more, you should get high. And if you don't,
man,
try some of the other stuff.
Yeah.
Man, I tell everybody all the time, I'll take a 15% bubble kush over all this 23 everything.
Yeah, because they spraying that shit to make it even more fresher. Yeah. Like you got a harvest date of February of last year, and they just not selling it. Like,
yeah.
Exactly.
That's one of the biggest pet peeves. And on the educational part of the podcast, we try to get people to educate themselves on these different brands. Like some of this stuff, you can tell like it's just dry kind of popcorn. It's like dust. You just kind of smash it in your hand. You know, like you want to be able to read these harvest dates, see who are these different companies testing the cannabis. Like, you know, the more you inform yourself about cannabis, the more you are more secure in that purchase.
Yeah,
that's
definitely.
facts. That's facts.
But no, as far as y'all seen though in our scene, it's kind of mirroring images. Like, you know, like I said, our biggest issue in Michigan cannabis is the discrepancy between dispensaries and caregivers. So like last year, Michigan made $3 billion off of cannabis. But if you look at those lower numbers in the market, you know, caregivers, let's say if it was like maybe 200 caregivers in one county, once the money started to super exceeding into the billions, you see like if they had 200 caregivers, this year it might only be like 50 or 60. So
Yeah.
that part of the market is kind of like dying.
Damn.
Agreed.
You
Yeah.
know, and even when they try to go the dispensary route, I'm like, okay, we can be a dispo, but we gonna have those caregiver roots. They get them out of there too.
Yeah, they do.
And it's, you know, it's a few corporations within Michigan that is the sole purpose of doing that. So
And that's the thing, bro. Like how I said, if we all just start thinking about, okay, well, we know they coming at us.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Like, we know they come at the legacy markets because they want to be the only ones in control of this shit. Like Marlboro, the cigarette companies, all that shit. They already got hemp cigarettes that they selling out here in California. So,
of course,
you know what I'm saying? So, of course, they want that. They want what we have. We have to go, okay, we have to be smarter.
Right.
The smart way we have is to outnumber them, right? People think, okay, well, these bigger companies have one person running it. No, it's 20 people running this fucking company.
Or several investors that have poured their money into it while we're all sitting here, you know, look, this is mine.
This
and
is
that's
my
why
pot.
that's
Right.
why when people come to this, we always tell people it's like we want to collaborate with other people for this festival. Like we don't even care if our freaking name is on that thing or if we get recognition because there's too much of that in our communities already, and the dying of it needs to start somewhere.
Yep.
Yeah, but I'm gonna disagree with you too though. Like y'all guys have done 3 events now. It definitely should be the name. Maybe the workflow could be dispersed a little bit better. Like, cause I see you guys got the volunteers and the different vendors that helped out, but essentially you guys did this by yourselves. Like, far as like planning, and it's like, okay, this person has a nice idea, but us two, we gonna because that trust factor. Because people
Very true.
tell you, I'm gonna do this. We gonna be there.
Yep.
This and that. Blah blah blah. Then when it's the shit, when it's time to do it, they like they're not gonna have that same you know drive as you guys.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
I would definitely say, like, you know, don't do it alone. But find the right people that align with you. Yeah.
I'm with that one.
Yeah.
It's definitely about the right balance. Yeah.
Because we have tried the other co-coordinators before, and nobody did anything.
It was still us.
Yeah.
It was still us. We have 5 coordinators at one point. Me, her, 3 others. It was still us doing everything. Like, they're
All
like,
the advertising.
It was like, where's the people at? Did you help us do anything? Did you make any? You know, because I do all the, you know, this. She does social media stuff. I help her with that one. I do all the photo editing. I do the videos. I do like a lot of the marketing behind the scenes, like designing and all that stuff. I do all that stuff, and then plus the building. And she's back here going, well, now we have X, Y, and Z that needs to get done, and since you didn't did this, now we got to bring in X amount of money to make sure this is covered since your idea, Mr. Big Ideas. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like you said, if you get the right team, we'll be all right.
Yeah, definitely. Like, so just speak about that, like, far as like the team building and the team expansion, like how important and how much forward are y'all looking into that, as far as like as the event expands and grows?
I mean, we try every year to figure out what else we can do to attract more people to volunteer or to help us coordinate, come early, come throughout the year to help us with little projects. I mean, and we're at the point where we're like open for suggestions. This year we offered to pay volunteers, so that was helpful. We had 2 volunteers come through, but I mean, it really is going to take like a team of people. So, I mean, a lot of times we kind of just look at like the sponsors and the vendors, and a lot of those people want to see our vision manifest into what everybody can, you know, foresee. And that's why you saw a lot of the vendors so active, is because they're all really invested in seeing this get there. So we just got to keep working at it, keep spreading the word.
I think that's all it is, honestly. Okay.
Say it again. Okay. Just real quick, like, what do you feel about the expansion and like adding people in?
I think that's the number one thing. Like Michelle said, like we've tried everything that we can think of to kind of add people on, with this being year number 3. Even when we were in Colorado, we were trying to get people a part of the team when we were doing the smaller events. It's like you said, like it's certain people, like how we have our 2 volunteers that came out this year. I mean, like I said, it wouldn't have happened if it wasn't with them. You get what I'm saying? Like, there was so much stuff that happened this year that I had to be taken away to where I couldn't do so much stuff, and Ishel couldn't do it. Or, like I said, if it wasn't with just the 2 that we had, this event wouldn't have been what it was this year. And imagine if we had 2 more, just those 2. You know what I'm saying? Like 2 more people just like those 2 people we had, and
it'd make it even better,
bro. It'd just be so much smoother. Everything just goes.
Yeah. So, what's some of you guys like favorite strands?
Strange.
Yeah, I knew it. My
398.
ultimate favorite strain is UK cheese.
Okay.
Yeah.
We
But I also like Diesel.
We some old heads, bro.
Yeah.
Y'all like the beginning of the OGs and shit like that. Yeah. What type of shout outs y'all want to give to people that supported the event? And
I'll do some shout outs. What kind of weed you smoke? What's your favorite?
Oh man, I've been smoking a lot of different weed lately, but I think my favorite strand of all time right now would probably be it's probably like a tie, but it would probably be Durban Poison or some Granddaddy Perp.
Oh yeah, like
Granddaddy Perp. Granddaddy Perp is like that first strand that I really had, like that I smoked ever.
Yep.
I done told this story on the pod plenty of times.
Yeah.
But just the taste of it. Like if right now, if you had some Granddaddy Perp on you right now and you started smoking it, I wouldn't even have to ask you like, hey, what's that strand? I would already know.
Yep.
Because it's that I knew it from a mile away like that.
Yeah.
Like I said, that brand recognition and you that certain smells, you like, okay, you know, I know what's going on. So yeah, those would be my top 2 for sure.
Well, who you want to shout out?
I mean, for sure, Hippie Days Brew. They do coffee and snacks and stuff, but they're our only diamond donor. They gave us $10,000 this year.
Wow.
They committed to giving us $10,000 every year. So
it's a blessing.
Yeah, we couldn't have done what we did this year without them. I mean, a lot of the sound equipment and the lights, the fire pits, the heated showers, all that is because of their donation. So a lot of those things were like well received by everybody. So big shout outs to Hippie Days Brew. And also because they don't put pressure on us to get thousands of people here. They're like, we don't want thousands of people here. We want the right people here to vibe out with. It's like
quality over quantity.
Yes. Yeah. So I really appreciate that.
I'll shout out Smoke Some Podcast.
For real.
Appreciate it.
I mean, you was our first media sponsor in 3 years that actually acted like a media sponsor. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, I mean, again, just you and your team, bro. I mean, that was fire for us. I mean, Hippie Days. I mean, Nug Jules, they were pretty dope with us. They helped us out a little bit.
1111, they're also one of our sponsors.
Yeah, I had some of their strands. They definitely dope. I definitely when I come back, I definitely got to tap in.
Jones and your Bones came all the way from Minnesota, so and same
Fire
with you.
food.
Yeah, you came from far away too.
Yeah. I mean, I think those would be like the biggest ones that actually like, contributed to the festival. Like, I mean, they even like when I said Nug Jules, like they came at the end and they started picking up stuff at the end while we were doing our smoking contest.
Right.
We were back here having a smoke contest. I'm looking back and I'm seeing them picking up trash from everywhere. I'm like, okay, appreciate you. You know what I'm saying? It's like always about the right people. Yeah. So I appreciate it.
Well, I'm definitely glad that I was able to make it out here to the Freedom Fest. I wish my team could have came out and experienced this different event and experience, and coming to the West Coast. You know what I'm saying, being Midwest guys and experiencing and appreciating the nature and the event and the thought and the planning and the love and the energy you guys